O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mr. Reddy Rancourt, who has just recorded an album of national anthems. They're the officials for today. Bill McCreary will be the referee. Leon Stickle and Ryan Bozak are the two linesmen assigned for this afternoon's game. In goal for the New York Islanders, Bill Smith with a record of 20 wins, 12 losses, 3 ties, 3.62 goals against average, 1 shutout to his credit. Lifetime against the Bruins, 12 wins, 17 losses, and 6 ties. And in goal for Boston, it is Pat Riggin, who has won 17 times since coming here. 19 wins on the season, 13 losses, 5 ties. Overall, a 3.42 goals against average. Lifetime against the Islanders, he is 5-7-1, and facing them for the first time as a Boston Bruin. Brent Sutter is in center ice. Bob Bourne is on left wing. Mike Bossy is on the right side with Potvin and Dineen together on the Islander defense. We'll get to the lineup changes as we get an opportunity. The Bruins handling the puck. Larson shooting it into the Islander zone and is picked up by Bossy after Smith had made the save. Bossy up to Brent Sutter. Carries it into center ice. Drops it in. That's Larson going after it. Larson tries the left side for Ray Bourque. Comes over center ice, fed it to the left wing, and Dave Reed fed it off in front. It's poked away at the Islander defense by Rich Crom. Trottier with it at center ice. Trottier moving up on Larson. Larson knocked it off the stick, and Riggin moves it up the boards. Held in by Conroy. He gets checked, and out comes Barry Peterson. Over center ice, Peterson on into the Islander zone. Dropped it for Reed, but Peterson unable to pick up the return pass. And the Islanders trying to come out of their own end of the ice. John Plum held it in, and we watch Johnson with it back in the net. This is Brian Trottier. Trottier comes to center, hammers it right on target. Riggin grabbed it, dropped it. Plum gets tied up by the forechecking of the New York Islanders, and the puck has come to center ice. LaFontaine to Flatley, gets into the Boston zone, has dumped it into the corner. Chasing it is Mike Milbury. Now Gillies moved in with a stick up on John Blum, and the puck comes to center ice. Jeff Courtnall to the left side. Milbury's shot sails high and wide. Jeff Courtnall in forechecking has played it back in the net. Randy Boyd up the left wing out of the reach of Gillies. That's going to end up in the Boston zone, and icing has been waved off. LaFontaine chasing Blum back in the net. Blum gets tied up with Flatley over on left wing. Now Courtnall has cleared it into center ice, and Steve Casper moves down the wing. Boyd takes him off the puck. Crowder went to center one. Courtnall is there. LaFontaine ties him up, and Boyd dumps it around to the left side. Held in by Talbot at the blue line. Boyd with it for the Islanders. To Gillies, who's relayed it just outside the line. Kluzak shot it back in, and we get our first play stoppage of the day.
As you would expect in a Islander-Boston Bruin hockey game. Physical action, a lot of hard skating right at the beginning. The Islanders know the Boston Bruins love to start quickly here in the Boston Garden. They like to get the jump on the visiting team. Bruins get an opportunity, as did the Islanders early in the hockey game. Here's the Bruins getting in close, but good defensive work by Richard Crom as you saw him scoot in and knock the puck away. Good defensive move by Richard Crom.
Ken Morrow is not dressed for today's game. Roger Kortko is back in the lineup. Mark Hamway has been scratched. And, of course, Bob Nystrom out with the eye injury. This is the 34th game that he has missed since suffering that freak injury. Dineen held it in at the line, but big Charlie Simmer just fed it out of the reach of Crowder. It ends up in the Islander zone. Potvin back for it. Up the left side for Bob Bourne, who is joined now by Brent Sutter and Dwayne Sutter. 3 Bruins get back. Brent Sutter gets over the line. The puck knocked off his stick. Riggin around behind the net to Ray Bourque. Up the wing. Potvin has to get back in a hurry as the pass goes to Linsman. He comes over the line. Gave it to Simmer, and the shot is wide of the net. Rolls rolls on and off the mesh at the back. It is picked up by Dwayne Sutter. Now to Bourne. Bob Bourne on left wing. Shoots it in from center ice. The Islanders making a player change. Trache has come out along with Crom, and now Bossy out on the right side as well. And the Bruins have shot it down into the Islander zone. It's rolling on edge. We'll get an icing call as Conroy touches up. There's a break in the action at the Boston Garden. No score between the Islanders and the Bruins.
Has to be pleased with the way the trade has drawn the Islanders into a higher level of play. They've been playing good hockey since the trade deadline.
There's a drive from the right point off the stick of Johnson. Reagan had it measured all the way. Johnson, who had played right wing in Toronto on Thursday night, has dropped back to play the right side of the defense, teamed up with Steve Conroy.
Fine shot. Tried to sneak one through. Reagan got the catching mitt. That's the first stop that Reagan has really been faced with. He gets his catching mitt on it. Reagan, of course, catches with the opposite hand to most goaltenders. He catches with his right hand. Most of the goaltenders in the NHL will catch with the left hand.
The scene is out on the ice along with Reed and Peterson. There's Trache putting it right on. Reagan the save, and Ray Bork picks it up. Bork checked in his own end. Rich Crom gets tied up with Peterson. Harry Peterson is fed it out of the reach of Reed. Chasing it is Conroy, and we'll get another icing call against the Boston Bruins.
Steve Conroy, one of the things they haven't talked about with the newly acquired defenseman for the Islanders coming in from the Calgary Flames is his ability to skate. He's a good skater. He has his legs wide apart. He's hard to knock over and has a good stride. To see him going down the ice against Reed a moment ago, he got in ahead of him, touched the puck to create the icing. Here's the opportunity, the Islanders' best one right there. Good shot by Brian Trache as he, from point-blank range, tested Reagan with another shot. Here's that same play at another angle. Reagan back in deep with Trache standing that close. He wants to get as long a look at the puck as he can, and he can do that by being back into the net. It does give Trache a little more net to shoot at, but on the other side it gives the goaltender just that split second of more time to pick it off.
Mark Hamway, who had we been told would not dress today, is in the lineup. And he's out on the line with Greg Gilbert and Mikko Makela. There are your Islander forwards, Boudelier and Boyd on defense. Linsman with the puck at center ice, got it across the line, but Boudelier fed it to Boyd. Put it between the skates of Makela, and hustling back on the Boston defense is John Blum. Blum comes to center, flips it over the left side, off the stick of Simmer. Crowder and Boyd. Boyd goes down heavily, hit his helmet on the boards, and Brent Sutter is tying up the Bruin player. And they get a scrap as a result as Boyd got cranked pretty good. Crowder and Brent Sutter.
Crowder ran over Randy Boyd, and Brent Sutter said that was a lousy thing to do. It was a come from behind check. So Sutter steps in after Crowder, and you see the result here as they haven't really thrown any punches. They've just kind of grabbed a hold of each other. And with that stoppage of play, breaking the action and no score early in the first period, we'll return to the Boston announcement here. Brent Sutter gets 2 minutes for roughing and 5 minutes for fighting. Crowder gets 5 minutes for fighting. Now, you watch it along with me. Here's the play. There's Randy Boyd. There's the check from behind, a cross check. Now, that's right away a penalty. Here comes Brent Sutter. Now, you tell me where they fought. This is the complaint. Well, I've got lots of them, but here's one of them. If this is fighting, if they're going to get 5 minutes for that, what is going to be when guys take off the mitts and let them fly and land a few? Do they get 10 minutes for fighting then? One of the complaints, one of my many. Icings, that 5-minute call for fighting, that's an overreaction in a hockey game that I think if the players are allowed to play it out, they'll iron all that out on their own. Nothing for the cross-check. I can't believe that Crowder got away with that one. He leveled Randy Boyd from behind with a cross-check.
In attendance here in Boston this afternoon is the Vice President of the National Hockey League, Mr. Brian O'Neill, one of the supervisors, also on hand, and they're busily jotting down notes as I look up there.
Frank Adveri, yes. He's refereed for so many years in the NHL. He recognizes things like that, I would hope. But nonetheless, it was called by the referee doing tonight's afternoon's game.
That referee is Bill McCreary. So Boston on a power play, and they come to center ice. Bork shooting it in. Linsman moves it along the right side. Bossy knocks it away from it. It's picked up outside the blue line by Ray Bork. If Linsman, Pasine, Simmer, Peterson, and Bork out on their power play at the moment. Linsman plays it back into his own zone, and Ray Bork has it. The Bruins' power play is the 5th best in the league. 88 power play goals thus far. They're up against the Islanders, who now rank 8th best in penalty killing, and that has improved dramatically in the last few weeks. Linsman check back of the net. Potvin plays it up the boards. It's held in by Charlie Simmer. Linsman gets it back to the blue line and away from Bork. The Islander penalty killers, since the trade, been outstanding, killing off 25 in the last 26 times short. Here's Bork with a shot. Blocked by Potvin. The rebound under the pads of Smith. Both Simmer and Bork got a second whack at it, and Bill Smith stands tall in the Islander goal.
Best save of the hockey game at either end of the ice. Billy Smith, Ray Bork all alone in front of the net. He takes the pass here from Pasine on his backhand, has time, rips it. Dennis Potvin made the initial save. Look at that shot as Billy Smith not only made the save, but he got down and blocked the rebound. There's Potvin blocking the initial shot. Bork's rebound blasted through. Smith standing the ground in front of the net. Dead center makes the save off Ray Bork. They're using Bork and generally Peterson on the points. Now they've got Reed Larson on the right point along with Ray Bork.
Linsman moves into center ice, Simmer on the right. And the puck has been cleared down the ice. The other forward was Dave Pasine. Bork and Larson at the points, as Eddie mentioned, and 42 seconds remaining in the power play for the Bruins. There is no score if you've just joined us. Bork sends Larson over the line. Drop pass to Pasine. Comes through in front of the net. Controlled by Charlie Simmer. Walks in. Shoots. Smith makes the save. Larson with it on far side to Simmer. Plays it back in the net. Here's Pasine trying to put it out in front. It was tipped behind the Islander net. Larson with it. Reed Larson out of Minnesota being tied up by Janssen. The puck comes back to the point for Bork. Ray Bork beats Linsman. Moves in. Centers with a cross, and Boyd has tipped it over the glass and into the seats. 10 seconds remaining, and then minor penalty against Brent Sutter.
Good penalty killing again by the Islanders. As you pointed out, Jiggs, have been improving the penalty killing statistic down to the point where the Islanders penalty killing now 8th. So much of the season it was ranked up in the 15 and above. Here's Charlie Simmer coming in from the side. There's a shot off the goalpost to the right of Billy Smith. As Simmer gets a good opportunity. Watch the goalpost on the far side of the net. There comes the puck. Bang. Off the post. Charlie Simmer coming close, but not close enough.
Bruins get the draw, and Bork's shot goes off Trottier, and that ends up in the seats.
Now, you know what, Brian Trottier, he's smart enough. That had to hurt. Leon Stickles saw it. If Trottier lifts his leg and complains about the pain because he's in pain, that went off the top of his foot, right off the instep. If he says, ouch, lifts his foot, that signals to the referee right away that it hit him, and the face-off should be inside the Islanders' blue line. If not, he's not so sure. He may take it outside. But Leon Stickle sees all. He caught it.
Middle edge they look for. Larson's shot was blocked by Smith. Dave Reed had it knocked away. Deneen moves it up the boards, and here's Hamway, who has just completed serving the minor penalty against the Islanders. So they're back at equal strength. No score. Gord Deneen carries the puck into the center ice zone. The pass off Hamway's stick. Picked up on the left side. Nienhuis goes in, shoots, that missed the net. And bouncing off the boards and out into the center ice zone. Back is Larson. Over to Gord Kluzak. Kluzak played it across the line. Peterson gets checked. Reed went to put it out in front and was picked off. Brought out by Patrick Flatley. Flatley sends LaFontaine over the line with a shot that just missed. He had Riggin moving out of the net. Now here's Flatley with it. Can't get set up in front. Is knocked down by Telvin. And the Bruins start out into the center ice zone as Nienhuis flipped it between the Islander defense, and Boyd works it to center ice for Flatley. Across to LaFontaine. Steps into the Boston zone. Got taken out by Kluzak. Telvin plays it up the boards. And on into the center ice zone. Nienhuis to the right wing for Casper. He is tied up on the play by Boudelier, and the puck goes to Boyd. To Gilbert. Telvin caught him from behind, and LaFontaine picks it up. Comes into the Boston zone, working on Milbury. Cuts to the right side, shoots, juggled, and now grabbed and held by Pat Riggin. There's a break in the action at the Boston Garden. A little less than 13 minutes to play in the period, and no score between the
Wired Reed Larson for his point position shot. Here he is. He's got a good shot. Look at Bill Smith. He got just enough of it to deflect it up in the air. Here, Pat LaFontaine using a couple of shields. Let's go. Riggin makes that shot look easy, and it wasn't. It's a good stop by Riggin.
It is Makela with Gilbert and Hamway up front for the Islanders. Johnson and Conroy on defense. Blum waiting outside the line, shot it in before Casper able to clear out of the Islander territory. 12.5 minutes remaining in this first period. The Bruins are playing the game without Randy Burridge today. The youngster is out with a groin injury. For many of the hockey fans in the New York area who get to see the Bruin road games, you know that they conduct an annual poll of fans to select the 7th player. They made the presentation of that award here on Thursday evening, and Randy Burridge was the winner. Got himself a brand new red truck. 7th player. You won that, didn't you?
Yes, that's very true. I won the first ever 7th player award.
What color truck did you get?
I didn't get a truck. John McKenzie won it the second year, and they finally decided rather than just give us trophies, they give us a nice trip that we took to Europe.
All right. You and McKenzie went to Europe
Johnny
together?
McKenzie and I went to Europe, yeah.
Well, that was in all the papers. Remember World War what? Comes back to Larson, and a shot tipped in front off the heel of Johnson's stick, and the Islanders, Mark Hamway has cleared it to center ice. Greg Gilbert gets it to Makela. But off his stick, Makela races it after it. Fired from an angle that just went wide. Comes to Simmer on left wing. Up to Dwight Foster. Tipped it back. Linsman up the middle of the ice. Drop pass for Bork. Left side. Simmer is a backhander that's turned aside. Or Deneen brings it up the right wing. A pass to Hamway is broken up. Simmer shoots it back in, and Potvin is there for the Islanders. Kenny Potvin to Rich Crom. Plays it into the center ice zone. Bringing it back for the Bruins is Courtnall. Makela got a piece of him, and Potvin has cleared it to Makela. His pass goes off the stick and shot right back in again by Courtnall. Smith back to the net. Here's Potvin. Left side to Rich Crom. Crom goes rink wide. The pass misses Bossy, and Kluzak picks it up for the Bruins. Gave it to Courtnall, to Casper. It's in on the left side, centered it in front, and it's broken up. A collision. Courtnall, or Marquardt rather, went into the goalpost heavily. Smith involved in the collision along with Rich Crom.
No shortage of action here in the Boston Garden. Tremendous action as the Bruins trying to open up the scoring. Still no score. Billy Smith coming up with some more action in his end of the ice. Everything's done just a little quicker. A lot of people can't believe and understand that, but with the blue lines about 5 feet closer to the net, things happen much quicker. Let's take a look at Marquardt as he goes in. Crom checking on him. Bang! Into the net. Everybody seems to be going. It's a good indication of how the nets, they come off. Some nights we complain that they come off a little too early, or a little too easily, I should say. There's Nevin Marquardt showing some pain as he ran into the net, ran into Billy Smith, Richard Crom, the whole cast of 3 heading for the net. It's not a very narrow area when you have 3 big bodies in 24 square feet. Something's got to give.
Marquardt going back to the Boston bench now. The Bruins sending out Casper, Dwight Foster, and Courtnall. Kelvin is just back into their lineup. He had missed 11 games with a dislocated shoulder. He's on the right side of the defense. And Kluzak, who's wearing a cast to protect a sprained wrist, is out on the other side of the defense. Boudelier plays it away from Courtnall. Got it to Bossy. Bossy's pass is deflected. Boudelier pokes it ahead. Rich Crom takes a beating from Kelvin as he plays it down the left side. Kluzak moves it after it. Bossy right there with him, and Casper works it around the boards. Picked off by Trottier over in the far corner. Stepped away from Casper, goes back to the net, and gets knocked down by Kluzak. So the Bruins move it out of their own zone. Casper, lead pass to Courtnall, comes over the line with a shot. Smith the save, and he holds it. Dropped it off in time, apparently, and Randy Boyd slaps it out of there. That's going the length of the ice. Pat Brigham let it go, and Bossy picks it up. Can't put it into an empty net as he almost picked the pocket of Pat Brigham completely. This is Kluzak for Boston. Off the left wing board. Johnson picks it up out at center ice. Thomas Johnson to Bob Bohr. Now to Rich Crom. Gets over the Boston line. Fed it to Dwayne Sutter. His shot is a stick save. Ends up in the left wing. Conroy had a bounce away from him as it came off the boards. Out comes Steve Casper. Out and into the Islander zone where Dwayne Sutter picks it up. Sutter's pass to the left wing for Gilbert. To Conroy. The shot grabbed and dropped by Riggin. At Riggin gives it to Mike Milbury. Bourne chased him away from the puck, but it's picked up by John Blum. Blum comes to center ice, shoots it in high and wide of the net. Peterson and Dwayne Sutter collide. Here's Peterson putting it out in front. Conroy Conroy took the man. The puck went wide, and Conroy is going to go on. Steve Conroy will get the gate for interference, laying into Dave Reed in front of Bill Smith. There is a break in the action here at the Boston Garden as the Bruins get ready to go to their second power play.
The opportunity. Conroy takes an interference penalty. Watch in front. There's Reed. Conroy grabs a hold of him. Down he goes. Interference call on Steve Conroy. So the Bruins, as I had mentioned, get their second power play. They had the first one when Brent Sutter had a penalty earlier in the period.
Potvin got it to the line. Bork with a shot off Simmer's stick. Charlie Simmer takes it back of the net. Couldn't center it completely, and Flatley has cleared it out of there. Ray Bork picks it up back of the net. 9 minutes, 20 seconds left in this opening period. Bork comes to center, tries the right side, out of the reach of Linsman, and Patrick Flatley has cleared it for the Islanders. Johnson moved up to a penalty-killing position as a forward now, along with Flatley, Potvin, and Dineen. That is your Islander lineup at the moment. Bork goes to Crowder on right wing. Flatley stepped in front of them, and Potvin is back. Danny Potvin, a lead pass up to Johnson. He stayed onside and fires one that missed the net. Charlie Simmer takes it on the far side. A check by Johnson, and now Simmer with it again. Big Charlie Simmer to the right side for Bork. Shoots it in wide. Bossy is there, slaps one off the boards. Up to Thomas Johnson, and he's cleared it down the ice with 56 seconds remaining in Conroy's interference penalty.
More good penalty killing by the Islanders. Bruins can't gain control in the Islanders' end of the ice.
Now Dave Reed chases a loose puck. Put it out in front off Boudelier and wide of the net. Hassine comes out of the corner. To the blue line to Larson. Lets it go. Smith the save. Hassine races to the right wing. Controls the puck. Has Casper with him in the corner. Can't get it to him. Larson from the blue line. Shot it wide. Peterson over on left wing into Casper. Casper trying to set something up. Reed put it out in front. That's cleared to Bossy, and he's dumped it out of there. Reagan way out of the net has given it to Reed Larson. It's over center ice on into the Islanders zone. Now Hassine got it from the blue line. That's broken up. Wayne Sutter takes the man. Bob Bourne takes the puck. Moves into the Boston zone on Larson and then shot it off the Bruins defenseman. And the Islander penalty has expired. So they're back at 6 aside. Have killed off 2 penalties in this afternoon's game. And no score with 7.5 minutes remaining. Potvin to Greg Gilbert. Gilbert up to the right side for Wayne Sutter. It's checked right at the Boston line. Dineen gives it back to him. Now to Potvin. Pulls it away from the forechecking of Courtnall. Potvin dumps it down into the Boston zone. It's being called back on an offside. So with 7 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the opening period, there's a break in the action and no score.
And again, figuring in on the power play, there's a shot by Reed Larson. Bill Smith, the top of his goal crease, kicking it aside. Larson, of course, acquired for his expertise and his shot as a power play point person.
They have Mike Milbury out on the left side of the Boston defense at the moment. Flatley got checked as he came to the blue line. Johnson moves it up. Lost it to Simmer. To Linsman. Has Crowder on the right side, and a good play by Conroy to break up that pass. It comes back to Blum. Knocked away from him, and Patrick Flatley gets it away from Crowder out to LaFontaine to Clark Gillies. Gillies unable to get it into the Boston zone. Johnson moves up now. Rolled off the stick, and he picks it up offside inside the Bruin territory.
Fast-paced hockey game, playoff hockey, about what you would expect when these two teams get together. Obviously, Boston with 2 power plays have had the advantage in territorial play. Bill Smith keeping the Islanders from falling behind. Penalties to Brent Sutter and Conroy. That same Steve Conroy. There's the play a moment ago as he knocked the puck away. Linsman trying to get it to Crowder, who had room on the right side, but Conroy outguessed him. Got just enough of the puck to knock it away.
A couple of other games in the National Hockey League this Saturday afternoon, and we'll keep you posted as scores become available. If you're a hockey fan, and obviously you are, you're tuned into Sports Channel, watching the Islanders and the Bruins. If you're living in the Boston area, this is the weekend you've waited for. The NC2A quarterfinals, hockey night in Boston, the high school tournament, and the Islanders and the Bruins this afternoon. And the Bruins put it out in front. It's picked off and cleared by Randy Boyd up to Patrick Flatley. Flatley to Boyd as he moved over the line. Right in front to Gillies, and he got knocked down as he shot it wide. Luzak on the Boston defense. Now to Talbot. Shoots it in from center ice. Smith grabs that and drops it for Paul Boudelier. Boudelier up the left side. Boyd is relayed it to Makela. Nico Makela into the Boston zone. Got checked. Gilbert has knocked it loose, and it comes outside the blue line. Picked up again by Gilbert. Tried the left side. That hit Makela. Now to Boyd. To Potvin, rather. Kenny Potvin to center ice and shot it into the Bruins zone, and Riggin moves out of the net. There's the puck around the glass intended for Passin, but Gilbert was there. Into Mark Hamway. Hamway out of the corner. Centered one in front that was blocked by Ray Bourque. Bourque carries it down the right side and shoots it in around Potvin. Zimmer waits for it on the left side. Deneen runs into him, and Hamway picks it up. Pulls it away from the check of Linsman. Got it to Mikko Makela. Two men back as Makela comes over center ice. Hamway moves up on right wing, and the pass is intercepted. Controlled by Potvin, and his shot is cleared aside by Riggin after making the catching glove save. Gilbert takes it away from Crowder. Greg Gilbert in the corner. Gets bumped. Moves away from Larson. Put it out in front. Nobody there for the Islanders, and here comes Charlie Simmer. Simmer, who celebrated his 32nd birthday on Thursday, gives it to Crowder, and his shot hit Potvin. Makela has dumped it into center ice. Now less than 5 minutes remaining in the opening period at Boston. Reed Larson couldn't pull it around Bob Bourne. Milbury moved up the wing, dumped it into the center ice zone. It bounces in over the Islander line. Korknall gets checked. Here's Crowder, or Casper rather, centering it right across in front of the net. Comes off the boards for Korknall. Korknall from a bad angle. Smith made the save and then dove right on top of the puck. There's a break in the action. We have 4 minutes and 24 seconds to play in the first period. The Bruins and the Islanders are scoreless.
Boston Garden between the Islanders and the Boston Bruins. Out-of-town score has a 1-1 tie between the New York Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. That game played in Philadelphia.
Big weekend for the New York Rangers. An important weekend. Every game important now as their opportunity to make the playoffs hinges on the outcome of their games and what the Penguins do. Saw Bill Smith out handling the puck, held it long enough for a face-off. The Islanders at home on Tuesday with the St. Louis Blues, and then go to Washington next Friday.
Here's the Boston Bruins. That's Plum as he bounces one in. Bill Smith looking like a first baseman picking off a line drive just inside the line.
Thomas Johnson has cleared the puck around the boards. He got away from Blum. Down into the Boston territory, and Bourque goes back. Bourne moving into forecheck. Bourque rounds the net, picks up a little steam. Comes to center ice and dumps it in. He did not get over the center ice stripe. The play did not result in an icing call, as the Bruins touched it first, and now you see it in a pileup along the boards on the far side. Ends up back of the net, controlled there by Conroy. Steve Conroy dumps it into center ice. Milbury back for Boston, works it off the boards. Rich Crom, who has just come out on a player change, picks it up for the Islanders, gives it to Boyd. Randy Boyd to Dwayne Sutter, went off his stick. Sutter collided with Milbury. Crom moves up quickly. Rich Crom tied up and taken down. Casper will go to the penalty box. Casper goes off for a holding. First Islander power play of the afternoon.
Richard Crom showing some speed down his off wing, the right side. Casper in full flight right after him. Pulls him down. Watch number 11 here as Richard Crom down the right side. There he reaches out, grabs a hold of the left shoulder and then the left arm of Richard Crom, pulling him down. Gets the first penalty to the Boston Bruins, or I should say the first penalty that they have to kill. Back earlier in the period at 4:04, Crowder and Brent Sutter went off when Sutter got an extra 2 minutes. But there he is, Casper for holding. So the Islanders' power play will go into action.
A look at Butch Goring and the Boston bench as the Islanders get set up for the power play. It was good on 4 of 5 occasions against the Maple Leafs on Thursday night. They have scored 1 power play goal and 9 chances against the Bruins this year. Puck played around the board. Johnson with it at the right point. Into the corner to Crom, on to Brian Trottier. Trottier trying to get away from Larson. Bossy picked up the loose puck. Works from back of the net. Put it out in front of his tips and ends up in the center ice zone. Coming back is Potvin. Crom, Trottier, and Bossy are the forwards. Johnson and Potvin at the points. Potvin left side to Brian Trottier. Comes over center ice and shoots it in. Bossy races in after it. Bork beat him to it. Ray Bork around the boards, but right to Potvin. Benny Potvin across to Janssen, into Crom. Crom draws a crowd, had it docked away. He and Peterson get the sticks up. The puck comes out over the line. Peterson controlling it. It's intercepted and now picked up by Linsman. He shoots. Smith the save, and Janssen takes over. Thomas Janssen trying to control a rolling puck. Dumps it into the Boston zone, and there's Dwight Foster returning it. Foster acquired at the trading deadline from Detroit. He had started his NHL career here with the Bruins. Went to Denver, to New Jersey, to Detroit. Oh, that shot off the skate of Clark Gillies, and he is hurt. Gillies limping as he goes back to the bench, really stunned with that drive. Here's Gilbert. Greg Gilbert across to Patrick Flatley, into the corner for LaFontaine. Back to Flatley. A delayed penalty call in effect against the Bruins as Boyd lets one go that's wide of the net. LaFontaine takes it off the boards, beats the blue line to Boyd. Randy Boyd centered one in front that was deflected, picked up by Gilbert. The point to Boudelier. Across to Randy Boyd, into Flatley. Flatley tied up by Milbury. They keep the puck in the Boston zone. Flatley turned around. Now LaFontaine feeds the blue line. Boyd is there. Foster controls it. And that will get the whistle with only 7 seconds remaining in the penalty against Casper.
That's always a decision that a team has to make. A lot of teams would sooner have the Boston Bruins touch the puck, stop the play, and get the two-man advantage. As Billy Smith did get out of the net, the Islanders get an extra man, but a two-man advantage, my thought always was, let them have the puck in their own end deep. So the face-off is going to be in the Bruins' end. We'll have a two-man advantage. That way, the Islanders, working against the Boston Bruins with one extra man, kill off a lot of time for Boston, in my eyes, as a penalty killer. There's two schools of thought, obviously, but there's a penalty to the Boston Bruins, a slashing penalty going to Milbury. Here he comes across, whack across the arms of Pat Flatley, and that's the penalty. But a good 35-40 seconds went along before the Bruins finally touched the puck. There's Clark Gillies, and they hit him on the outside of the ankle, where there's very little protection. All there is ankle bones, and no question you could see him go down. He couldn't get back up and hold his balance, put any weight on his foot. A foot goes numb, you have no feeling. You don't know that it's there. It doesn't operate.
Now the Islanders operating briefly with a two-man advantage, have shot it into the Boston zone. Larson picks it up. Played it to the point. Janssen is there. Casper back on the ice. Here's Bourne. One-man advantage for the Islanders. Janssen holds the puck into Bob Bourne. Fires one. Riggin down. The rebound is tapped wide by Dwayne Sutter. Bourne dumps it into the corner. Sutter from back of the net trying to get away from Larson's check. Couldn't do it, and the puck has been cleared up the wing. Janssen kicks it into the corner off Bourne's stick to Dwayne Sutter. Back to Bourne. To the blue line to Janssen. Now to Bourne with a minute to go in the period. Right back to Janssen. To Bob Bourne. Moves it off the right wing. Shoots one. Riggin down to make the save. Dwayne Sutter has it. Gets it to Bourne. Back to Janssen. In around the boards. Dwayne Sutter tips it on to Brent. Back to Dwayne. Bourne crosses through in front. The puck in the crease is cleared by Bork. Sutter with it now. Dwayne Sutter out of the corner. In deeper to Brent. Out in front. Dwayne Sutter shot it wide. Bourne can't swat it out of the air after Riggin had made the save, and it comes right back to Potvin. Eddie Potvin can't hold it on the left side, and now gets it back to Janssen. 22 seconds left in the period. Larson has it for the Bruins. Shoots it into the Islanders' zone. Well, they were under heavy pressure in the Boston end, and the Bruins being applauded by the faithful here at the Boston Garden. Wayne Sutter out of Crom. Luzak goes to the corner, slaps it off the boards, and that will do it for the opening period as Biff comes out to guide a rolling puck on to Bourne. And a siren sounds ending a good first period. Excellent pace here this afternoon. Neither team able to score over the first 20 minutes of play, and your score at the end of one. The Islanders nothing. There's no score between the New York Islanders and the Boston Bruins at the end of the first period. Shots on goal, the Bruins had 10, the Islanders with 9. Series of penalties, Conroy, Casper, Milbury, Boston with a couple of power play opportunities. The Islanders had a couple, and the Islanders' second opportunity will continue on into period 2 with 26 seconds remaining in that slashing call about against Millbury. But really the story of the period, a couple of good saves, key saves by the respective goalkeepers. The pace of the period has been tremendous.
Well, it's, as we had talked about, it's the kind of a pace you'd almost expect. And so often when you expect this kind of a pace, you don't get it. But we're getting it here this afternoon. Tremendous goaltending again at both ends of the ice. First half of the period, it was Billy Smith hemmed in a couple of power plays for the Bruins, and he did what he had to do to keep the Islanders from falling behind. Then the Islanders started to pick it up at even strength, and then a couple of penalties to the Boston Bruins, and the Islanders get the power play. Riggin is sharp at his end of the ice, so we've got what we call a typical playoff game here through the first period. 10-9 the shots on goal, so that shows you exactly where they're standing with the attempts at both ends of the ice. But no question that for Boston, Reed Larson is paying dividends for his shot from the point on the power play. Foster is welcome back here in Boston. He must love being here. And as far as the Islanders, all the players are playing at the peak, so we're in for quite an afternoon.
I would think Dwight Foster will find the career extended by a couple more seasons, being back in the friendly confines of the Boston Garden. No score at the end of one. We'll return to the Boston Garden after we pause for this message. The Bruins are scoreless at the end of the first period in Boston Garden. Large contingent of Islander fans here today. Members of the Booster Club are on hand. A busload of them made the trip over here. They'll be holding their next regular meeting on Monday, April 7th at 7:30 at the Weekly Hills Tavern, Post Avenue in Westbury. Bobby Nystrom will be the guest speaker that evening. Monday, April 7th at 7:30. A reminder to members of the New York Islanders Booster Club. The Islanders are home on Tuesday night against the St. Louis Blues. On Friday, they'll be in Washington against the Washington Caps. And a week from today, as they celebrate Richard Crom's 22nd birthday, the Islanders will entertain the Edmonton Oilers at the Nassau Coliseum. So as we await the start of the second period, the Islanders and the Bruins in a scoreless tie. The hockey players are not born with all the talent that you see them display in the NHL. The learning process is often painstakingly arduous, and help, whenever it is obtained, is appreciated. Recently, our Stan Fischler attended a skate, shoot, and pass exercise at Candiac Park, where scores of youngsters were practicing the rudiments of hockey.
You can never be too young to learn to be a hockey player. Kids 4, 5, and 6 years old are stick handling, shooting, and scoring. On Long Island, hockey is bigger than ever, and we got a taste of it tonight with the Coca-Cola skate, stick, and shoot competition. Kids from all over the island, their parents, and a bunch of spectators getting a big kick out of watching kids play hockey. We took a look at them and talked to several of the kids and their parents.
Well, it's very exciting to say the least. It's an incredible feeling to see your son in goal, even though sometimes it's a little difficult being the goaltender's mother. But we're all behind Jimmy, and he's very excited to be here.
What about the life of being a parent? What does it mean in terms of sacrifice?
Well, it takes a great deal of time and personal involvement, commitment. But when you see your son so committed, you feel that way yourself. As a matter of fact, my husband maintains that it's the father who does the running, the father who does all the equipment managing, and when the camera goes on, the sports figures in a professional capacity, they turn around and say, "Hi, Mom." So I guess being a mother does have its advantages in the long run.
Your mom has really helped you, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Tell me what she's done for you as a player.
Well, when my father went to Vermont, she helped me getting dressed and suiting me up and everything.
Who's your favorite player?
Mike Bossy.
Yeah, but you're a goalie. Who's your favorite goalie?
Kelly Rudy.
You've got good taste as well. Tell me, how far would you like him to go as a hockey player, really?
I really feel that I'd encourage him to go as far as he possibly can. Whatever is good for him is good for us, and we're behind him 100%.
I think the kids are having a terrific time in this program. It's open to all the kids in Nassau and Suffolk County. As you can see, a lot of them are very, very interested in hockey. A lot of them haven't even played before, but want to get interested in hockey, and this program gives them that opportunity.
Two things interest me. One is that there are kids who are just right off roller hockey you know, and not too skilled, but very enthusiastic. Obviously, it doesn't matter how skilled they are.
That's very true. A lot of them are into roller hockey because it's a little bit easier, of course, to find a street on Long Island than it is necessarily an ice rink. But it gives them an opportunity to get on the skates, see if they're really interested in it, and maybe to get into a league the following year.
The other thing that's fascinating is to see the young women, or little girls, if you'll forgive the expression, doing it as well.
I'm disappointed. I think we've only had 3 girls out here for this competition, and right now I'd like to say to all of them out there that I know there are quite a few of you out there that I see skating in the leagues at the Coliseum, and I think you should be out here to give these boys a little bit of a run for their money.
Now, where does this competition lead? Where will the finals be? What can we look forward to down the line?
We have the semifinals at the Coliseum in March, and we have a final at the Coliseum on March 25th. Then the winners of our finals, the Long Island finals, will play the winners of the New Jersey Devils final at our game April 5th. Then all the winners from that particular competition go to the Meadowlands the following night and put on an exhibition for the Devils fans.
How long have you been playing hockey?
This is my first season.
And what position do you play?
Left wing.
You think you're going to do well in the competition?
I don't know.
Who's your favorite team?
Islanders.
Your favorite player?
Pat LaFontaine.
Would you like to be a professional hockey player?
Yeah.
Even though you're a girl, you think someday girls will be able to play in the NHL?
Yep.
Well, keep at it. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks. This is my first year. I came from a roller hockey team, and now it's my first time trying to play ice hockey.
Is there much of a difference between roller hockey and ice hockey?
Not much. It's like the same. You have to skate and everything.
It's a little slippier on ice, isn't it?
Yes.
Who's your favorite Islander?
Pat LaFontaine.
And your second favorite?
Billy Smith.
How do you think you're going to do in this competition?
Hopefully well.
Boston Garden, no score between the Islanders and the Bruins, awaiting the start of the second period. We're also awaiting the launching of the Kennard Countess with the New York Islander fans and players, Eddie Westfall, myself, and our wives on Saturday, June 14th. That'll be our one-on-one postseason celebration at sea, setting sail from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and bound for 8 more exotic Caribbean ports of call. 5 Islanders and a former New York Islander. Clark and Pam Gillies will be on board, Paul Boudelier, Bob and Janice Bourne, Patrick Flatley, Bob and Michelle Nystrom, and John and Karen Tonelli will be joining us. So we're inviting all you Islander fans tuned in today to come spend a week with us aboard the Kennard Countess. To become a part of Face-Off 86, visit an Austin travel office near you or call 822-2222. That's area code 516-822-2222. Come join Ed, myself, and your favorite Islanders for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We look forward to seeing you.
All right. Getting ready for that. I get to do this every game, and I want to do it again. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Islanders, and it's intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Islanders and Sports Channel is prohibited. Announcers on this telecast were selected by Sports Channel and approved by the New York Islanders. I'd also like to tell you that you can cast your vote in the Sports Channel Islanders and Nets Most Valuable Player Sweepstakes with a chance to win a fabulous prize, a trip for 2 on the Queen Elizabeth II, provided by the Cunard Lines. Send your vote for a player from each team on a separate postcard to Sports Channel's Islander and Net MVP Sweepstakes, Post Office Box 234, Woodbury, New York, 11797. Entries must be in by March the 28th. Islander winners will be picked on March the 29th, and net winner will be picked on April the 9th. So get those in as quickly as possible. Well, we're between periods 1 and 2 in the Boston Garden, and there is no score. We'll be back right after this. Getting ready for the start of the second period. There is no score, but lots of action, lots of playoff-style action in the first period. Saw the Boston Bruins get some good scoring opportunities on Billy Smith, but they were unable to get anything behind him. Let's take a shot here. There's a shot blocked by Dennis Potvin. Roy Bork stepped in and took the rebound, tried to put it between the legs. There's Simmer hammering away, but Billy Smith has it trapped. Smith comes up big, and down at the other end of the ice, Reagan was kept busy by a couple of Islanders getting opportunities. We saw Pat LaFontaine get an opportunity along with Bob Bourne. Let's take a look at some of the action here. LaFontaine goes to his right, uses a couple of players as screens and rips a shot. Reagan makes the stop, knocked it up in the air, then picked off the rebound. And Bob Bourne right behind that play by Pat LaFontaine. He had an opportunity along with Bossy. Of course, Bossy came out from the side of the net. Reagan had mishandled the puck, but Bob Bourne had a slap shot, a ripping shot that Reagan was to make the save on. Take a look at Bob Bourne, and he had an opportunity. Here he comes. He's up at the top left corner. There's his quick wrist shot. Whipped it in. You could see the reaction by Reagan, a little bit slow as he was partially screened on the play, but he got the pad in front of it, kicked it away. Some of the action from the first period. The Islanders bench, Bob Nystrom, along with Brian Kilray in behind Nystrom. Get ready, along with Al Arbor. All three behind the Islanders bench.
26 seconds left in Milbury's penalty as the second period gets underway. Larson and Bork on the Boston defense. Gillies, who was shaken up in the first period after blocking a shot, is back out there. Here's Larson unloading one. Smith got a piece of that. Larson in the small arena will be dynamite for the Bruins with that shot. Foster kept it in for Casper. Potvin gets a piece of him. Casper comes out of the corner and clears it into center ice. Larson with it. Across to Bork, and the penalty against Milbury has expired. Up come the Bruins. Reed Larson being bothered by Gillies as he shoots it into the Islander zone. Trottier here on right wing is tangled up with Charlie Simmer, and the puck goes to Janssen. Around to Potvin. Potvin up to Brian Trottier. Comes through center ice. 2-on-1 with Bossy. Trottier moves in deep. Bothered from behind. Still got the shot away. Reagan made the stop. It's loose back of the net. Cleared around the boards. Right to Randy Boyd. Boyd with a drive. Blocked in front. Trottier going for it. Delvin was there. Delvin up the right side to Crowder. Now to Milbury. Back to Keith Crowder. Bossy got a piece of him, and Michael Bossy is going to get a penalty.
Crowder gets hooked up from behind by Mike Bossy. One of the few times Mike Bossy gets a penalty. Crowder trying to break loose on the right side. Hooking penalty. That's the signal by the referee. So the Boston Bruins, early in the second period with no score, get another power play opportunity. This will be their third of the game. There's Bossy. You see his stick on Crowder. He took a little dive. He lost his balance. And knowing that he might be able to get a penalty for Bossy, went to the ice. Bossy goes to the penalty box, and the Boston Bruins go to a power play, their third of the game so far. They are 0 for 1, obviously. No score in the game. 18:52 still remaining in the second period. Here's Reed Larson from outside the blue line. Look at Smith. Now the puck goes riding off the boards. Watch the ice. Bang. There's the puck right back out in front. Hard shot by Reed Larson.
And the Bruins, with this bad advantage, set up Peterson on left wing. Simmer bothering Smith in front of the net. Linsman over on the far side, handling the puck with a pass to Simmer. Tried to put it in front. Boyd went down to block it, and Conroy has cleared it out of there. Michael Bossy now has picked up 12 penalty minutes on the season. He had 38 last year, 8 the season before that. He is off for hooking, called at 1:08 of the second period. Bork shoots it in from center ice. Goes around the boards to Crowder. Conroy got a piece of him. Crowder controls the puck. Conroy all over top of him. Now Linsman comes in, being bothered by Brent Sutter. Sutter down, had the puck beneath him long enough for a face-off.
Fine penalty killing by both teams so far in the hockey game. Boston, as we had talked about earlier, shored up their penalty killing a great deal, I believe, in getting Dwight Foster back. Of course, the power play had be helped with Reed Larson. The Islanders' penalty killing improved a great deal. The Islanders now 8th. They were, last time I looked, it seemed like they were 15th, but they've improved and come a long way with the penalty killing, which is very important to them.
Killed off 8 in a row against the Rangers at home the other night. Didn't allow the Maple Leafs anything in 6 opportunities in Toronto. The Bruins will start this power play from deep in their own zone. We're 2 minutes into the second period. No score at Boston. Bork comes into the Islander zone, cuts to the left side, and dumps it in around the boards right to Potvin. The captain banks it to the line. Larson knocked it down to Peterson. He gets checked, and the puck comes to center ice. Ray Bork with it. His pass intercepted by Janssen over to Patrick Flatley. Flatley moves in. Takes it off the boards. Boy, draws a crowd in a hurry. 3 Bruins around him, and the puck goes to Peterson. Peterson to the left side to Ray Bork. Bork comes to center. Gave it to Larson over on the right side. Reed Larson cuts to the left. They flood this territory. Now give it to Peterson. He centered one off the stick of Smith. Comes through. Oh, what a save by Bill Smith. Larson gets checked by Potvin, and the puck loose. Simmer with it. His drive hits Teddy Potvin. Around the boards it goes for Flatley. Smith has come up with another ding-dong save here in the second period. He made a couple of brilliant stops in the first.
10 Beller. 10 Bell save that time. Point blank range. Everybody in the building thought he was beat, but he got his right pad on it. Knocked it away.
Linsman feeds Kluzak in the Islander zone. He goes in deep, rounds the net with it. Kluzak can't find anybody open. Now gets it back. Telvin with a shot. Smith the stick save there, and Bossy clears the rebound. Telvin back into his own zone for the Bruins. Trache and Crom into forecheck, and the pass up the boards into center ice is controlled by Bossy with the teams at 6 aside again. Randy Boyd dumps it in. It bounces off Riggin. The Bruins start from deep in their own territory. The defenseman, Michael Telvin, with it. Gave it to Kluzak. Up to Linsman. Linsman's had a good year. Boyd just knocked it down with a high stick, and we get a play stoppage. There's a break in the action at the Boston Garden where the Bruins and the Islanders are hooked up in a scoreless tie.
Reed Larson starts the play and the power play. There's Peterson as he knocked it across, knocked down by Charlie Simmer. Here's where we thought the goal was coming in. So did everybody. Look at Bill Smith as he stretches way out with his right pad. Telvin lets go a shot from the point position. Smith again with good balance. He went down, made the save, right back up on his feet again.
The Bruins outshot the Islanders 10-9 in the first period this afternoon. Patrick Flatley chasing the puck into center ice. Bilberry got back, put it on Janssen's stick, and it comes to the center ice zone. Clark Gillies moves up left wing, gave the puck to Boudelier. Over to Janssen. Right side to Flatley. LaFontaine moved up, couldn't control it. This is Courtnall. Drop pass, and Foster shoots it in. Back to the Islanders is Thomas Janssen. Left side to Gillies. He and Blum battled for it. Went to LaFontaine. Right wing to Patrick Flatley. Flatley to Janssen, over to Gillies. Out to center ice, into the skates of Flatley. To the Boston line, LaFontaine picked it up, but he did so offside, and there's no further play.
Tonight at 7:30, the Nets match up against the Sixers in Philadelphia. Don't miss the action. The Nets and the Sixers tonight at 7:30, only on Sports Channel, #1 in New York sports.
Well, the Islanders have this game covered today by Assistant General Manager Jerry Eman. Bert Marshall is here. Earl Ingerfield is here. Rich Green, a lot of the scouting staff taking in the game. It's not the importance of today's game. It's just like I said in the first period, the place to be. The college teams aren't playing this afternoon, nor are the high schools.
But they will be tonight. They were last night, and that's what they're here for. May as well take in an Islander Bruin game in the afternoon. That's entertainment for them.
There are at least 4 scouts from Philadelphia sitting up there. Keith Allen, Gary Green, Jerry Melnick is here, Walter Tanis. Everybody's hit the Boston Garden. Potvin playing the puck to Hamway. Up the right side comes Makala. Couldn't get around Passine, and the puck is deflected into the seats.
Of course, the one thing about being from another team watching these two teams, because there may be a playoff situation come along, maybe something they can see, maybe something they can make a note of as a scout, or as an president or an assistant general manager, or whatever the capacity may be, something may help. So everybody's watching very closely.
Saw the game last night between the Boston University Terriers and the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. I have to figure that at least 12 of the National Hockey League teams were represented at that game. Lou Nanny had a son playing for the Minnesota club. He was there. Now the puck has been cleared down into the Boston zone and picked up by Ray Bork. Bork out on the right side, dumps it into the center ice zone. Janssen has tipped it ahead to Bossy, who comes over the line on right wing, shoots one, kicked out by Riggin. Foster gets checked by Crom. The Trache went off his stick. He and Bork chase it to the corner. Now Bossy comes in, picks it up, gave it to Crom, back of the net. Rich Crom centers, Trache shoots, Riggin juggles up, but can't hold on. And Brian Trache Trottier has put the Islanders in front.
Beautiful give and go. Richard Crom. They had Bossy covered by Reed Larson in front of the net. But now Regan has got a few words to say to Brian Trottier as they gather around. Here's Bossy behind the goal. Here's Crom as he comes to the side, looking, and then delivers. Brian Trottier had stepped in behind Ray Bourque, put it off the goal post, then off Pat Regan into the net. A 1-0 lead for the Islanders. That shot by Brian Trottier got by the catching mitt of Pat Regan. It hit him on the head after it came off the goal post, was heading away from the net, but it hit Regan on the side of the helmet, deflected back into the net, and a 1-0 lead as the Islanders, beautiful give and go, Bossy to Crom to Brian Trottier, and a big 1-goal lead for the Islanders. Trottier, his 34th goal of the season.
The only assist will go to Rich Crom. It comes at the 5:35 mark. Trottier, with 414 goals, has broken that tie for 22nd place in the NHL that he shared with Gary Unger. Next man he has to catch is Bill Barber. Retired after scoring 420 goals, and just ahead of them, Stevie Shutt. 424 in his career. The Islanders have been called for having iced the puck as you look at a former New York Islander, number 91, Robert Thomas Goring. He's 35 years of age now. Played at 1,107 games in the NHL, starting out with LA. And the Islanders and on to the Bruins. After a partial season here, became their head coach. And there's Alger Joseph Arbor, who coached Goring for several very successful seasons.
I'll be a little surprised if Bossy doesn't get an assist on that goal. He passed it to Crom behind the net. And Crom, in turn, waited beautifully, and then returned it to Brian Trottier, reminding me a little bit of a 50th goal of the season for Mike Bossy when Crom made that rink wide, or that goalmouth pass to set up Bossy for his 50th in a 4-goal game.
Now the Islanders have cleared it out into center ice. Brent Sutter racing after it. Kluzak comes back a long way. He'd been on the near side of the ice, crossed over, picks up the puck. And not cleared away. Dwayne Sutter put it in front. Off Talbot, it comes to Simmer. Simmer taken down by Brent Sutter. Dwayne Sutter with the puck now. Into Bob Bourne in the goal mouth. They can't tap it by Pat Regan, who had stretched out to cover that 6-foot wide goal mouth. Simmer going for a loose puck. Has given it to Linsman. Linsman comes in on the left side. The pass through. Talbot picks it up again. Banned on his shot. Comes right back to him. A delayed penalty against the Islanders. Bilberry's shot is kicked out by Smith. And as Bourne picks it up in the corner, we get a whistle and a holding penalty against Paul Boudelier. There's a break in the action at the Boston Garden where the Islanders are leading the Bruins.
Talbot, his point shot. Smith kicking away.
Bruins get the puck back to Bourque. His drive right on. Smith made the stop, and Dineen clears the rebound. Bourque and Bossy down into the Boston zone as Bourque plays it around the boards. Bossy goes after it, steps in front of Peterson, and got it back to Potvin. Now to Dineen. Or Dineen clears it into the Bruins zone. Reed Larson, number 28, parks behind the net and starts out with it. Larson over center ice, shoots it in. Mike Bossy takes it in the corner, couldn't clear it across the line. Peterson pulls in off the left wing boards and shoots one off the stick of Reed and wide. Cassine checked, recovers the puck, pulled it away from Trottier, comes in a little deeper. Cassine looks for somebody in front, worked it back to Bourque instead. Trottier all over Cassine as Bourque handles the puck. Trottier moves up on him, and the pass ricochets off some skates, but not out. Peterson dumps it back in the net. Reed has it. Dave Reed pulled it away from Trottier, and it's cleared to the blue line to Larson. Larson in along the boards. Reed and Trottier tie up. The Bruins 1-0.
Boston Bruins get an opportunity here. There's the loose puck, scramble in front of the net. Jeff Cordnall gets a backhand. Watch Bill Smith. Watch him in the net. He doesn't know where it's going to go. He just wants to cover everything he can cover. Spread out. He does. Gets the puck. Here's the loose puck. There's Cordnall. It's still loose. It wasn't Cordnall. It was Casper, excuse me, that got that shot away. Bill Smith got enough of it to keep it from going across the goal line.
Smith with 4 wins and only 1 loss in his last 5 outings. Was telling me this morning before the team left the hotel that he hates these afternoon games. Just dreads them. Well, he has been at the peak of his game here this afternoon. Randy Boyd with the puck now. Clears it away from the Boston defense. Blum chases it. Gillies chases him. Riggin out of the net, handling the puck. Dumped it into the corner. LaFontaine comes in after it. It's knocked loose. Back to Flatley. Into Clark Gillies. To LaFontaine and on into the goaltender's area. LaFontaine was taken down by Blum. You see them getting back to the ice, and John Blum is going to take a penalty. There is a break in the action with the Islanders going to the power play and leading the Bruins.
John Blum draws the next penalty. The Boston Bruins, there he pulled down Pat Flatley. Gets the penalty for holding, and the Islanders leading 1-0, who have staved off power plays 3 in a row. Bossy, Boudelier, and Gillies all getting penalties, so the Islanders get their turn now.
Johnson with a drive that went through in front, comes out on the left side and knocked away into the center ice zone. Back comes Johnson. Thomas Johnson playing the point with Potvin. Gillies has joined Trottier and Bossy as the forwards. This is Bossy. Trottier knocks it out of the air. And Foster picks it up and shoots it down the ice. The Boston penalty killing has been excellent as well since the acquisition of Foster. As Eddie pointed out, it's really been a pleasant turnaround for the Bruins. They're up to, at this point, 17th best. Yes, it had been a lot lower. It has improved. There's another reason for it, the play of Larson in his own end, getting the puck to Bork. Shoots one from the blue line. Smith just got the stick on it at the last second. Peterson comes off the right wing boards. A check from behind by Brent Sutter, and Potvin takes it down. Potvin to Bob Bourne, shoots it into the Bruins zone. Riggin leaves it for Talbot. Around the boards to Barry Peterson. Lost it to Boudelier. Centers one. There's Bossy tipping it to Sutter. He scores! Brent Sutter. What a play by Bossy, putting it out in front, and then Brent Sutter goes upstairs on the deflection.
It really got underway when Bossy took the pass from Paul Boudelier. Here's the play at the point that made it possible. There's Boudelier to Bossy. Bossy just flipped it over, and Brent Sutter taps it into the net. A 2-0 lead as the Islanders with some good passing. Here, Boudelier to Bossy. Bossy quickly to Brent Sutter, standing alone in front of the net. He flips it up over the shoulder of Pat Riggin, and a 2-0 lead for the Islanders as they make their power play opportunity pay off.
Brent Sutter's 22nd of the season, 9 of them now on the power play. That comes with Blum sitting out the holding penalty to make it 2-0. Now we were talking about the Bruins penalty killing. They'd given up only 2 power play goals in the last 4 games. That's since Dwight Foster arrived with the team. And it's now 3. And there's Brent Sutter shooting it wide, and he crashes into the end boards, but it's okay. Boyd holds it in. His pass to Sutter was cut off, and Kluzak has cleared it into center ice. Away from Peterson, down into the Islander zone. Randy Boyd with it. Boyd up the right side for Dwayne Sutter. Now to Brent. Back to Dwayne, and he shoots it into the far corner. Bourne trying to sneak in around the defense. That's checked on the play, and the puck comes to Talbot. They go to the right side. That's Dave Passine. He's checked in the Islander zone, and it's cleared out by Bourne. A little less than 6 minutes remaining in the second period. Pat Riggin leaves it in the corner. Fontaine went in after it. Riggin was being tied up with Dwayne Sutter. Now Larson works the puck over to Keith Crowder. Crowder into center ice. Just flips it into the Islander zone. Chasing it is Steve Conroy. Up to Patrick Flatley. To Pat LaFontaine. Flips it through to left wing. Gillies in after it. He and Simmer go to the corner. Couple of big, strong guys. Gillies trying to outmuscle Simmer. Gets help from Flatley. Then Crowder arrived, and Flatley picks up the puck. Centered, but it's broken up by Bork. Ahead to Simmer. He comes over center into the Islander zone with a pass to Linsman. Back to Bork. Fires one. Smith got in front of it. He was screened all the way. Had it long enough for a face-off, apparently. We have 5 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the second period. And with this break at the Boston Garden, your score is the Islanders 2, the Bruins 0.
Bill Smith holds his ground. A screenshot catches him on the inside of the right pad. Boston Bruins trying to get into the hockey game with a goal. They're trailing 2-0 with 5:06 remaining here in the second period. Ray Bourque has unleashed some pretty hard drives, but so far Bill Smith has been able to come up with the puck.
Brent Sutter to take the face-off against Kenny Linsman. Sutter turning on Linsman, got the puck to Boudelier, and he's cleared it high down the boards into the Bruins zone. Not far enough for icing as Larson picks it up. Linsman has 76 points in 55 games.
1.38 points per game.
You consider that he missed a lot of games with a couple of bones broken in his hand.
One of those bones broken in his hand happened against the Islanders in the last time they played.
That's right. Here at the Boston Garden. Ray Bourque handling the puck. It went off the helmet of Hamway right to Makela. Now to Hamway. Craig Gilbert comes over, picks up the loose puck. Gilbert comes out of the corner, then dropped the puck in a little deeper, and Bourque was there. Boudelier recovers out in the center ice zone, giving it to Boyd. To Makela, knocked away from him, and Larson shoots it in wide of the net. Linsman goes in after it, gets checked. Bill Smith out of the net, covers the puck as Zimmer came cruising in off the left wing.
Take a look at the Sports Channel out-of-town scores. It's a 1-1 score at the end of the first period. The Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. And how about those Detroit Red Wings? Break up the Detroit Red Wings. Oates has 2. Gare and Klima has 1, 4-0. They're leading the Chicago Blackhawks, and they got them in a hurry in less than 6 minutes and 49 seconds of the first period.
29-second mark, 2:20, 4:22, 6:49. I tell you, Oates with a pair. That's 6 now for Adam Oates after he had been banished to the American League. It was that free agent, high-priced free agent that they'd signed. One of several. John Blum with the puck back in the Boston defense has cleared it into center ice. Chasing it is Johnson. Courtnall comes in quickly. They tie up in the corner. Nienhuis comes out of the corner. Centered one. Picks it up again. Smith the save. Another shot is blocked in front. Milbury feeds Blum at the blue line, and that drifted wide. Here's Nienhuis from close range. Smith down. The puck comes loose, and it ends up in the skates of Trottier. Comes back to Milbury. Shooting. That misses the net. Bossy over. Can't clear it. The Islanders in trouble in their own end. Now Janssen works it around the boards, and Craig Nienhuis has it. Nienhuis into Kasper. To Courtnall. Off his stick at the side of the net. Nienhuis with it. Nienhuis, who hasn't had a lot of playing time this afternoon, getting the Bruins working around in the Islander zone. They're really a buzzsaw unit right now. Conroy has it. Trying to get it out of harm's way. It's held in by Milbury. Milbury plays it off Janssen into the far corner. Crom ties up Nienhuis. Trottier comes over, digs the puck off the boards, and clears it out of there. One of the best flurries for the Bruins, all of it instigated by the appearance of Craig Nienhuis. The Islanders move into the Boston zone. Brent Sutter with a shot off Milbury's stick. Milbury picks it up back of the net. Got it away from the check of Bourne, and out in the center ice zone, the Bruins feed Peterson. He comes over the line, drops it to Talbot. His drive, he scored! Michael Talbot, and Bill Smith reacting and broken his goal stick. He just hammered it to the ice and split it in half.
A lot of pressure by the Boston Bruins, and the Islanders did not fold under it, but Bill Smith held them in until Talbot gets a drop pass from Peterson, and his long shot hit Bill Smith on the inside of the pad, deflected into the net behind him, upsetting the goaltender, who's been outstanding in the hockey game so far. There's the shot. Billy Smith is upset that that one beat him after making spectacular saves all through the first period, and most of the second period. One gets between his legs as Talbot finds the opening, hits the inside of the right pad, and puts the Boston Bruins on the scoreboard for the first time.
And the Bruins move in 2-on-1. Kluzak had his pass blocked and cleared by Potvin. Reed ducks one. It stayed out somehow, and now a collision back of the net. Brent Sutter comes up with it. Can't get it to Dwayne. Peterson out in front, shot it wide. Potvin takes his man down. There'll be a penalty on the play. Eddie Potvin is going off, and the Bruins, who are fired up now, get an opportunity with a man advantage. Only 2 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the second period.
think the Stanley Cup was at stake here for the Boston Bruins fans. Potvin grabs Pacine as the Bruins, Klusak led the rush. The defenseman, what an opportunity. They never got a shot away. Klusak mishandled the puck. Then they come right back. Dennis Potvin has to grab a hold of Pacine. Here, Peterson turning, faking. There's the pass. Potvin takes down Pacine, draws the penalty. And the Boston Bruins with tremendous pressure. Here's Klusak losing the puck. Potvin knocks it away. There's a shot misfired by the Bruins, and Bill Smith got a piece of it, knocking it just wide of the net. There's the mayhem around the front of the net as the Bruins continue the pressure until Potvin takes a penalty, a holding penalty at 17:44. And the Bruins get their 6th opportunity on the power play. They haven't been able to do anything on it yet.
As I heard the announcement, it was television from Peterson and Pacine at 17:02, the Boston goal. And Potvin goes off for a holding at 17:44. Brent Sutter and Bob Bourne are the forwards. Boudelier and Boyd on defense. And the puck cleared into the corner. Brent Sutter and Linsman collide. Boudelier picks it up and clears it out of there. Bourque knocked it down and chases it back into his own zone. In comes Bob Bourne, forechecking. Bourque starts from back of the net. Left side to Ken Linsman. Goes in deep, trying to make the play across. Smith knocked it down. It came right back to him. And then fired wide by Peterson. Zimmer parked at the side of the net. They can't get the puck to him, and Brent Sutter brings it into center ice. Shot it in off the boards. Peterson will pick it up back of the net. Peterson up this left side. Bourque brings it over the line, dumps it in. Conroy took the man. Dineen took the puck, got it into the corner for Patrick Flatley, and he's cleared it out of there. 55 seconds gone, and the penalty against Potvin as Bourque handles the puck back of the net. Ray Bourque. This is Telvin shooting it into the Islanders zone. Pacine in after it. Pacine couldn't center. It comes loose. Johnson with it, and he's cleared it off Larson, who was waiting at the blue line. Less than a minute to go in the second period. Less than that even, remaining in the penalty to Potvin. Larson up the middle of the ice. Gives it to Telvin here on the left side. He can't get over the blue line. Handles it again, turning at center ice, and is chased back by Johnson. Johnson gets a rest. Boudelier comes out along with Randy Boyd. Bossy moves into forecheck. Pass comes to the left wing for Klusak. Back to Telvin. Telvin shoots it in from center ice. Trottier waits for it. Plays it to Randy Boyd. Around the boards to Bossy. Can't clear it out of there as it hit Larson. Boudelier had it. It comes loose in front, and Boyd quickly shoots it into the Boston end of the ice. 2 seconds left in the penalty to Potvin, so they've done it again. That's 6 times. They've thwarted the Bruin man advantage. Mike Bilberry brings the puck into the center ice area. Steps over the line and blasts one off Boyd, and just wide. It's cleared by Boudelier. Boyd steps away from the check as the siren sounds, ending the second period with the Bruins putting on all kinds of pressure. After having dropped behind 2-0, they get one by Bill Smith. And we're sitting in on a sensational hockey game at the Boston Garden this Saturday afternoon. At the end of 2 periods, your score is the New York Islanders 2 and the Boston Bruins 1. We'll be back with a recap after we pause. New York Islanders 2, the Boston Bruins 1. Shots on goal in that period by the Bruins 8, by the Islanders 6. 18-15 are your totals over the first 40 minutes of this game. The Islanders took a 2-0 lead in the period. Brian Trottier is to get his 34th goal of the season from Richard Crom at the 5:35 mark. And then with Blum sitting on a holding penalty, the Islanders score on the power play. Brent Sutter from Paul Boudelier and Mike Bossy at 13:29. Brent Sutter's 22nd goal of the season, and it was 2-0. But at 17:22, after they'd had constant pressure in the Islander end of the ice, Telvin scores from Peterson and Pacine, and the Bruins hit the score sheet. Telvin's 4th goal of the year. From there, it was even more hectic. A holding penalty to Potvin found the Islanders in trouble, but Bill Smith bailed them out. The defense cleared the puck time after time, and we've been sitting in on just a sensational effort this afternoon. Goaltending has been superb. You can't say anything bad about the defense and the forwards either.
Well, the whole game, the whole context of the hockey game, the Cards have just been back and forth and great opportunities. The thing with the opportunities is that they're earned opportunities. Generally, they'll either come on a power play or just a good play, a good offensive move, defensively and offensively, both teams with great exchange. The transition from the defense to the offense in this building tonight has been extremely quick. Every time a team makes an attack, the other team is poised, ready, they cover well, they grab the puck, back they come. So it's been back and forth. You know that they're going to have to flood both ends of the ice because it's equal at both ends of the ice because there's been a lot of play. But it's really just a mistake that's going to make the difference in this hockey game. It could be as easily a Bruin lead as it is an Islander lead. Billy Smith has been outstanding, and it's a tough break. You could see why he was mad. The puck that did beat him hit him on the inside of the right pad. He thought he had played it perfectly to take it with his pads, but it caught just on the inside and went through his legs. He was visibly upset with the play. Obviously, he figures he should have been moving his pads maybe and covering the hole in between them. But those are the kinds of things that happen in a game like this time and again from in close. He was diving around the net. He didn't know who was going to shoot it, where it was coming from, or where it was going to end up at him, but he was covering everything he could and doing the right thing. And the same at the other. Riggin didn't have as many testy shots in the second period as Bill Smith, but on the other side he did make some pretty good stops. I think Mike Bossy would have liked to have been able to wrap that one in when Riggin made the mistake.
Indeed. Those goal sticks not as strong as they once were. That effort by Bill Smith cracked it pretty good and very quickly. The Islanders find themselves leading the Bruins 2-1 and still 20 minutes to go. We'll return to the Boston Garden right after these messages. Bruins won at the end of 2 periods from Boston Garden. The Toronto Maple Leafs coach, Dan Maloney, calls Michael Bossy the best sniper he has ever seen in the National Hockey League. Well, he should know Michael Bossy recorded a hat trick at Maple Leaf Gardens on Thursday night, picking up 3 goals. It gives him a total of 56 this season. But Dan Maloney was just echoing something that opposition goaltenders will agree upon. Bossy's weapon is an implement that looks ordinary at first glance, but is more complicated than one might think. Mike Bossy told Stan Fischler what makes a good hockey stick.
And on how I feel at any certain time. This year I've gone to a stick that is a little more whippy than usual, and there is no particular reason why I've done that. In the past I've been using a very stiff hockey stick, one which the Titan brand seemed to put out in the past a little easier than other companies. But this year I've gone to a little whippier shaft, and I've been using the Turbo Titan now for a couple of years.
Now, when I played hockey, our greatest fear was breaking a hockey stick. Now, with your shot, I would think that you'd break a lot of sticks in a season, yet you tell me that you break none. How come the sticks don't break anymore? What goes into this stick that keeps it from breaking?
Well, this stick, this particular stick is foam injected, and it is completely wrapped in fiberglass, which gives it a lot of the stiffness and a lot of the durability that it has. Actually, I played the first 12 games of the year with the same stick, and they do tend to break down a little from the inside after a while, but more so on a professional level because of the stress that we do put on the hockey sticks.
Now, I notice that you have a curve, okay? It's not a really grave one, but it certainly isn't a straight stick. Why is it curved this way? What does it do for your particular game to have it that kind of curve?
I like to have the stick curved mostly from the heel of the blade, more so because I like my curve, the more pronounced curve, to be at the end, particularly for my slap shot. I really don't use the curve in the stick that much, except as you notice, the end is a little more curved, and it is a little turned out as would be a 9-iron or a sand wedge, and that's used mostly for close-in situations when I'd like to get the puck up, or in our end when a flip is needed to get the puck out of our zone. And I only use the front portion of my stick for a slap shot when I would like and try to get the puck to do certain things, whether to stand up on end or have a fluttering motion.
If you were recommending to a young hockey player the selection of a kind of stick. Would you recommend anything particular? Would you recommend a curve of any kind or any particular size? How would you recommend the stick to a kid?
Well, I think it's important for a youngster to develop the basic skills of hockey, and to do so I would strongly recommend not using a curved stick or using a very minimum curve in the stick, only because it does tend to get a little difficult stick handling, and if you're not used to the curve, it makes shooting harder than it actually is, and of course taking a backhand with a curved stick is a little difficult. And as professionals, we've had years and years of practice at doing all of those skills, so we've basically got used to using a curve. And also, most of us have been using the same curve for years and years now, so you know, it's really nothing for us to go out onto the ice and take a wrist shot with a stick as this one, compared to kids who go in the stores, and sticks aren't usually the same every time, so they may have a lot of difficulty in adjusting their shot or their passes to one particular stick.
This afternoon has been credited with one on the first goal by Brian Trottier, and it is 2-1, the Islanders leading the Bruins at the end of 2 periods. One other correction, we gave you less than even half of the total shots that the Bruins accounted in that second period. They in reality had 17 shots on goal and have outshot the Islanders 27-15. Calling all Islander Club members. If you and your group have purchased tickets to at least 2 Islander home games this season and are members of the Islander Club, you qualify for special group sales tickets, which will be available for the first 2 home games in the playoffs. First come, first serve, so all Islander Club members are reminded to call the group sales office on Monday at area code 794-4100. First come, first serve, and getting group sales tickets for the first 2 games of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Tickets remain on sale for the remaining home games. The St. Louis Blues on Tuesday night. Limited tickets available for next Saturday night when the Edmonton Oilers visit, and then the following Saturday, the New Jersey Devils completing the regular season for the Islanders at the Nassau Coliseum. You may pick them up at any Ticket World outlet, the Nassau Coliseum box office, or special numbers to charge by telephone. 2-1, the Islanders leading the Bruins after 2 periods.
For an in-depth look at the New Jersey Nets, the players, performance, and highlights of the week, don't miss Nets Weekly Magazine, Tuesday at 7 o'clock. This week, host Mike DiTomaso and Nets coach Dave Wall talk with Nets forward Mike O'Koren. That's Nets Weekly Magazine, Tuesday at 7, right here on Sports Channel, #1 in New York sports. Nets basketball heats up next week on Sports Channel. Tuesday at 11:30, the Nets are in Milwaukee in a matchup with the Bucks. Wednesday at 7:15, they tip off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Friday at 11:45, it's the Nets versus the Chicago Bulls. Nets basketball on Sports Channel, #1 in New York sports. Some games not available in all areas. Well, we're getting ready to start the 3rd period, and we'll return to the Boston Garden right after the Boston Garden. If we can quickly show you the highlights of the 2nd period, let's pick up the action in that 2nd period. Pedersen, right here, he gets an opportunity. Look at the save by Billy Smith. Spectacular right pad save by Peterson, or by Billy Smith off Peterson. And then Brian Trottier gets the goal. Here's the pass by Richard Crom. It goes off the helmet of Reagan into the net. And the Islanders, with Trottier's 34th, lead 1-0. Tremendous back and forth action. Let's take a look at the 2-0 goal Sutter scored, as we're going to drop the puck here, so we best stay to the live action now at the start of the 3rd period.
Brian Trottier between Mike Bossy and Richard Crom, with Dineen and Potvin in defense, and that shot seemed to fool Bill Smith as they drove it from the blue line on the left side. Potvin trying to get it away from the check of Dave Reed. It goes loose back of the net. Dineen lost it. Reed centers, and Trottier was there to clear it. Eddie Potvin up the middle of the ice, out of the reach of Richard Crom, and Peterson for Boston has given it to Bork. Ray Bork waits at the line, plays it across. Moving up was Larson, and he picked it up outside the line and dragged it in offside. 29 seconds into this 3rd period. That shot from the left side almost put the Bruins in an even status early in the third period.
It almost appeared as if Bill Smith was not ready when the shot came in. It was right from the face-off. The Bruins gained control of the puck. And when he went to move his left foot over, see that he could get it caught on the ice. Let's take a look now at the goal by Brent Sutter, a power play goal. There's the play. Paul Boudelier made it possible with that pass. Bossy converted it across, and Brent Sutter tips it up into the top of the net. That made the score 2-0. Sutter's power play goal is 22nd goal of the season.
This is live action as Courtnall picked off the pass. Sets up Casper. He shoots. Smith the save. It comes underneath Johnson, then loose, but the whistle had sounded. Bill Smith comes up big again.
What a tremendous save. We saw a moment ago his save off Peterson in the second period. He does the same thing here again. The Bruins get a break, walking in all alone with a fake and a shot to the far left-hand side. Smith picks it off with his right pad, coming up really big. The Bruins, Casper gets in all alone. Bill Smith makes the stop. Wow. That would have tied the game quickly for the Bruins. 41 seconds into the third period.
Now Courtnall and Dwayne Sutter in a verbal battle. Nienhuis joins in. It lined up for the face-off. The next thing you know, they're sort of poking at one another with the sticks. Step back, then shout at one another. Dwayne Sutter. Courtnall not finished. Bill McCreary, the referee, chasing Dwayne Sutter back toward the bench.
Now, it's a face-off. It's going to be outside the blue line because the Bruin defenseman moved in quickly. Larson and Milbury when the two players started to jaw at each other.
Milbury and Larson. You see Butch Goring. Milbury had been his assistant coach when the season began. Because of all the injuries, Milbury came out of retirement. There was some speculation that Butchie would be next. Nienhuis holding the puck in, centers it across. Casper back to Nienhuis. He took a dive. There'll be a penalty. Conroy is going to get the gate. And now a little ruckus in the corner here as you see everybody except the Boston defense and the two goaltenders arrive on the scene.
The reason the Boston defense are not moving in this time, the last time they did that, the face-off came outside the blue line as they separate Bob Bourne of the Islanders and Jeff Courtnall of the Bruins. Islanders were in a delayed penalty situation. There was a penalty coming, I believe, to Steve Conroy in the front of the net. The Bruins get a break here, a 2-on-1 break, and there you see Conroy take Courtnall down. From there, some more pushing and shoving. So we'll wait for the announcement of the penalties. I think there's going to be more than just the penalty to Conroy, as you see Bourne in the penalty box.
I don't think Conroy is going to get a penalty. He has come back and...
You're kidding. He had his arm up.
Yes.
There was a delayed penalty in action by the referee before anything happened with the two players, Bourne and Courtnall. I don't believe that the Bruins aren't putting up. There was a delayed penalty.
Well, what he has done is called a double minor on Bob Bourne. He's giving Bourne 2 for hooking and 2 for roughing and not giving Conroy anything. Courtnall is drawing a roughing penalty.
I'm glad you said. I thought I was seeing things. He had a delayed penalty
on Conroy, but he ends up giving Bob Bourne the double dip.
Well, anyway, we've seen some strange things. He's had a few fast whistles in this hockey game. He may be a little jumpy with some of the brass from the National Hockey League here, as you had pointed out at the beginning of the hockey game. Brian O'Neill is here along with Frank Adveri, so maybe he's a little jumpy with all of that attention.
The Bruins hold the puck in at the Islander line. Crowder playing it in along the boards. Here's Zimmer in the corner, up to Ken Linsman. Back to the blue line. Ray Bourque with a drive. Smith kicks that aside, and Trottier has cleared it out into center ice.
What a good job by Randy Boyd that time as he cleared out Keith Crowder from in front of the net looking for the rebound.
This is Conroy handling the puck. That check by Zimmer, and Boyd is there to help out. In comes Linsman, back to Bourque. Trottier moves up. Bourque gave it to Linsman. Shovels it back to Bourque. Over to the far side. Pacine with a shot that went wide of the net. And it ends up all the way down in the Boston zone. Coming out is Johnson, along with Flatley, Dineen, and Potvin. 45 seconds gone in the penalty. The minor penalty, the first one against Bob Bourne. One that makes the Islanders shorthanded. Linsman comes over the line. The pass to Crowder, broken up by Potvin. And then Potvin and Crowder collided. Both of them went to the deck. In the meantime, we watch the captain of the Bruins, Ray Bourque, shoot it around the boards. Potvin goes to the corner to take it away from Zimmer. Put it right on Linsman's stick. He shoots. That hit a stick and went ricocheting wide of the net.
I think that hit Dennis Potvin. He was the one that passed it blindly and intercepted by Linsman in his low, hard drive to the lower right-hand corner. I think Potvin got his skate in front of it.
Up the ice comes Ray Bourque. Shoots it in from center ice. Boyd takes Reed, and Brent Sutter took the puck. Moves it up the left side to Rich Crom. And he dumps it down the ice with 20 seconds left in the Bruin power play. Kluzak has it. The Islanders are leading the Bruins 2-1. Third period is just underway in Boston, and this is Kluzak. Gord Kluzak got bumped. Randy Boyd picked up the puck after Crom had leaned into Kluzak. Melvin back for the Bruins. And that'll do it. The penalty time has expired. Amway, who had been serving that penalty, comes to the bench, and out comes Patrick Flatley as Reed shoots from the blue line, and it's offside. There is a break in the action at the Boston Garden. Your score, the Islanders 2, the Bruins. Play underway briefly here in the Islanders zone. The puck loose on the right wing boards. Patrick Flatley clears it down into the Boston zone. Riggin handles it at the side of the net. LaFontaine moves in on him. Riggin just put it in the corner. Milbury got checked. Flatley centers it out in front. Conroy turns, shoots from the point, and that just missed. LaFontaine puts it in front. Gillies with a shot. Riggin makes a spectacular save.
Tremendous save by Riggin. Much similar to the ones we've seen by Bill Smith as he stretches out his right pad, and Clark Gillies shot aimed for the net. Here, a good play by Steve Conroy. There's the shot. It went just inches wide. Gillies steps in here in front of Nienhuis and drills it. That looked like it was going into the empty net, but out of nowhere comes Riggin to get his right pad. Riggin deflected that shot by Conroy wide. Look at Pat LaFontaine keep the puck in play in front of the net as Clark Gillies rips a shot that Riggin comes up very big on. Here's the play as Bourque lets go a shot a moment ago. Good stop by Smith. Brian Trottier clears the rebound.
Wow. LaFontaine to Gillies, and from the face-off, he shot it off the blocking glove of Riggin. Flatley picks it up over on the left wing. Into the corner for LaFontaine. Waits, center to Gillies. That was broken up by Riggin as he came across the goal mouth. Now LaFontaine gets knocked down. Flatley goes after a bouncing puck. He and Bourque tie up in the corner. It's loose for Linsman. Kenny Linsman cut through right in front of the net. Lost the puck to LaFontaine. At LaFontaine with a backhander right across the goal mouth, and it ends up on the right wing and cleared out to center ice. Conroy shoots it back in. It'll be picked up by Bourque. On to Larson. Off his skates to Gillies, and he brought it back in offside.
So many times we talk about players skating in front of their own net. It's okay as long as you've got good possession to the puck and nobody's there to check you. But that time, close call as Ken Linsman, an experienced player, skates right through in front of the net and gives his teammates some anxious moments as Pat LaFontaine come up with the puck. There's the pass in front as Gillies was covered closely. He got a piece of the puck, and Bourque trying to clear it.
You look at Pat Riggin. He was in goal when Marcel Dion got an assist here the other night to put Dion in second place overall in the all-time scoring list in the National Hockey League, passing Esposito and trailing only Gordie Howe with 1,591 points now. The way Gretzky is going, that second place record of Dion's will probably last maybe a little more than 3 years, but not any more than that, I wouldn't think.
Incredible the way he mounts up the points. Close call. The Islanders getting a couple of opportunities. Clark Gillies probably wondering what else could he do. He had the open net. He fired it. A crisp, hard, snapping wrist shot that Riggin come out of nowhere to get.
Now Bossy picks up a loose puck and rounds the net. What a move. Put it into the goal mouth, but it's been cleared, and here's Boudelier. Fed it across. Oh, my goodness. Bossy had Riggin at his mercy, and Riggin won the battle. Meanhouse after a loose puck, but he's offside, moving into the Islander zone. He gets ridden into the crossbar with Crom and Boudelier right there together. The play had been whistled dead at the blue line, but the momentum of the two teams carried them right into the goal mouth.
Just to get a piece of the puck creates the offside. There's Riggin. What a save Riggin makes off Mike Bossy from close in. Paul Boudelier. There he is as he rips the pass across. Quickly, Bossy shot it. Look at Riggin dragging his right pad. Got enough of it to pull it away as Kluzak, the defenseman, picks up the rebound. Mike Bossy robbed from close in by Pat Riggin.
Face off in the center ice zone. Peterson and Brent Sutter on the draw. Dwayne Sutter over on right wing. Got it to Dineen, to Dwayne Sutter. Up from behind by Reed as he got it into the Boston zone and out of the skates of Gilbert. Dwayne Sutter had a shot blocked, and now Brent tries to go back of the net. It's picked up by Gilbert. To Brent Sutter, and he backhanded it just wide. Dwayne Sutter into the corner. Takes it away from Peterson. Gave it to Greg Gilbert. Gilbert, the top of the circle, checked by Peterson. Got it into the corner. Blum and Dwayne Sutter after it. Now Gilbert gives chase. Peterson steps in front of him. Brent Sutter chases a loose puck. Bumped by Milbury. Gilbert steps between them. Brent Sutter had it in his skates, lost it, and Peterson has cleared it around the boards and out into center ice. Potvin hustles back with Basine right on his tail. Potvin clears it down into the Boston zone. Mike Milbury will touch up and we'll get a whistle for icing against the Islanders. Still 14 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the third period here. A couple of other afternoon games to check up on.
As you get a close look at Coach Butch Goring, let's look at the Sports Channel Out of Town scoreboard. In the third period, Philadelphia now lead the New York Rangers 3-2 on a goal by Craven. And the game, Chicago playing at Detroit. Chicago have now got on the scoreboard. It's 4-1 Detroit over the Chicago Blackhawks in the second period.
A race between the Rangers and the Penguins. Pittsburgh is at Quebec tonight. Hartford, in a race with the Boston Bruins, will play at home tonight against the Los Angeles Kings.
No question who Hartford would like to see win this hockey game.
And who Boston would like to see win in Hartford tonight. And it's not the home team. It would be the Kings. Crowder got the puck back from Larson, but it was offside at the New York Islander blue line. Well, there's a moment of memory here this afternoon at the Boston Garden. Tim Moriarty, who has covered hockey for many, many years, started his career right here in the Boston area, has covered the Islanders and the Rangers for Newsday for several seasons. Tim is retiring at the end of this season, and he has his family here today. His sons are here, and this is where it all began, and this is his last trip as an active newspaper writer to the Boston Garden. It has to be a sad day, I would think, for Tim. We wish him well.
I suppose if you're looking forward to retirement, as I'm sure he is, it's kind of mixed emotion time. There's a few places he'll probably visit this season, which will be the last visits as an active reporter.
Watch Smith handle a long shot. Rache clears it around the boards, and Conroy shot it over the head of Talvin down into the Boston zone. Kluzak goes back for it. Missed Casper with the pass, but Courtnall was waiting, couldn't handle it. LaFontaine dishes it across in his own end of the ice. Boudelier leaves it on the boards, and Clark Gillies gets tangled up with Talbot. The puck goes loose. Boudelier stepped in front of Nienhuis. Courtnall back of the net. LaFontaine trying to knock it away from him. Nienhuis there now. The youngster out of RPI. Got it back to Kluzak, into Courtnall. Went to the backhand, got checked. Casper with the puck. Pulls it away from Boudelier. Put it into the corner. Courtnall can't handle it. Casper after it. Centers. Nienhuis got a slap at it. That went wide. Comes through in front. Picked off by Flatley. Patrick Flatley brings the Islanders up 3-on-2. LaFontaine over the line. Cuts to the left side. Centers. Clark Gillies around Kluzak, but he couldn't regain control of it. And played it back of the net. Flatley picks it up. Kluzak rides him into the board. Patrick Flatley showing us some strength. Still getting it away from Kluzak. It comes back to Dineen at the right point. Lets it go. Riggin the save, and it ends up underneath Gillies. Still no whistle. The puck comes loose. Flatley's backhander is blocked. The rebound is cleared away. Dineen with a shot that misses the target, and Nienhuis clears it for the Bruins. Courtnall brings it into center. Ran into Dineen. Picks it up again. Boston in the middle of a player change, and now Larson has shot it into the Islander zone. Wow. Dineen back to clear it to Bob Bourne. He is checked by Linsman. Centers, and the shot blocked as Dineen went down in front of Simmer. Took the shot away from him. Bruins dump it in over the line. Linsman chasing it. Eddie Linsman puts it in front, but Potvin steps in front of Crowder and has played it around behind the net. Brent Sutter goes back to pick it up. Up the wing, out into center, away from Larson, and right to Pat Riggin.
Fine defensive move by Gord Dineen on that flurry by the Boston Bruins.
Little less than 12 minutes to go in the third period as Brent Sutter centered it across. Here's Cronroyd around the boards. Bourne ran into the goaltender Riggin as he went back to the net, and now Simmer has the puck. Out to Linsman. He and Crowder come over the line. Dropped it to Bork, and it's offside. Very close at the Islander blue line. A break in the action at the Boston Garden with the Islanders leading.
After making a fine defensive move, here's a ripping shot through heavy traffic. Look at Riggin. He gets himself in position and only hopes that the puck will hit him or it'll go wide of the net. Here a backhand shot from Pat Flatley, and Riggin again comes up with a good stop.
For the Islanders, it is Brent Sutter, Dwayne Sutter, and Bob Bourne. Thomas Johnson and Steve Conroyd on defense. Dwayne Sutter with the puck over on right wing. He was checked by Crowder. Johnson with it now. Left side to Bob Bourne. Out to center ice where Brent Sutter picks it up. Get it back to Johnson. It's up the right side. Shot it into the Boston zone. Riggin will leave it for Bork. The Islanders make a quick player change as Bossy has come out with Trottier and Crom. Larson back of the net. The Bruins now make their changes. Two coaches scoring of the Bruins. Arbor of the Islanders trying to go line against line here. Larson with a shot. Smith the save as Larson boomed that one. Crom plays it around to Randy Boyd. Up to Bossy. And he has dumped it into the center ice zone. Trottier gives it to Crom. He's got a break. Reed comes back. Crom with a shot. Off the goal post. Oh my. Crom digs it off the end boards. Gives it to Trottier. Into the corner for Bossy. Puts it out in front. Riggin turns it aside. Bossy with it again. Turns. Fires one off the skates of Milbury. There's Peterson clearing it out for the Bruins. And Boyd will pick it up at center ice. Across the left wing to Rich Crom. Upped it in a little deeper. Milbury back. Reed shoots it into the Islander zone, and Potvin has to go back for it. Both teams changing on the fly. Clark Gillies gets tied up in the boards. Peterson centers. The puck is tipped and out into the center ice area. Back comes Milbury. To Passine. He is dragged down. Play goes on as Flatley gave it the innocent look, and LaFontaine comes over the line offside. 10 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the third period. There is a break in the action at the Boston Garden with the Islanders leading by a single goal. Into the Islanders zone. Courtnall went in after it. He and LaFontaine arrive at the same time. And Potvin dug it loose, gave it to Gillies, now to Dineen. Or Dineen shoots it in. Flatley goes in after it. Riggin poked it into the corner, right to Flatley. Patrick to Clark Gillies. Tried to set up LaFontaine in front of the net. It was broken up, and Talbot comes to center with a pass to Courtnall. Drops it back. Casper shoots it way wide of the net. Here's Talbot off the right wing boards. Got it in deep to Courtnall. Couldn't center. Potvin with it now. Finds an opening and clears it into the center ice area. We're midway through the third period. Talbot handling the puck. Off the skates of Courtnall to Flatley, and he shoots it down the ice. This will result in a whistle. As Kluzak touches up, we'll have a face-off deep in the New York Islander end.
Entertained to, so far, about 50 minutes of outstanding hockey. The Islanders with a breakaway. Let's take a look at that action. A beautiful play as Crom crosses the line. Reeds dives. There's the puck. Off the goalpost to the left of Pat Riggin. Let's look again as Richard Crom breaks in. Tremendous shot. He got a good hard wrist shot away. There it is. Off the goalpost. It comes back behind Pat Riggin and away from the net. As the game is close in all aspects. Two goalposts in the hockey game, one by the Bruins, Charlie Simmer, that one by the Islanders, Richard Crom.
Now Brent Sutter laying the puck into the corner on the far side. Conroyd unable to clear it. It came to Brent Sutter. Up the boards. Bork gets to it first. Ray Bork with a shot. He scores! Charlie Simmer at the side of the net.
chance that Charlie Simmer could have tipped it in front of Bill Smith, but the Bruins, with consistent pressure here in the third period, they got 17 shots at Bill Smith in the second. Ray Bork picked up a loose puck almost at the blue line, circled in front, and let the shot go. Here's Bork, number 7. There he turns quickly. Watch Charlie Simmer at the bottom of your screen, number 23. Here's the shot. There it is, tipped down between the legs. Charlie Simmer deflecting Ray Bork's shot, and the game is tied at 2 apiece.
After trailing 2-0, the Bruins come back. A goal by Telvin late in the second period, and now Simmer, and they've just taken the lead. Crowder from an impossible angle. It's 3-2.
Keith Crowder has taken a loose puck in the corner to the left of Billy Smith. Looked like a centering pass, hit the skates of Smith and deflected into the net. And the pandemonium has broken loose here in the Boston Garden. Everybody on their feet in recognition of the go-ahead goal for the first time. Here's Crowder, picks up the loose puck from behind the goal line, passes it in front. It hit the inside of the right leg of Billy Smith, deflected into the net, and the Bruins have taken the lead 1-0. There's Smith as he went behind the net to try and control it. There's his feet. You see his right foot. Watch it. There it goes off his right skate and into the net.
Wow. Boston 3, the Islanders 2, as Crowder gets his 32nd of the year. Less than 15 seconds after Simmer had recorded his 32nd. So a 2-0 lead has turned to a 3-2 deficit for the Islanders. The puck in the Boston zone. Crom picks it up. Gets checked. And the Bruins move up. Here's Casper over the line. The pass to the left side. Courtnall's shot is blocked and smothered by Bill Smith. 8 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the third period. A break in the action with your score. The Bruins 3, the Islanders 2. 8 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the third period as Peterson squares for the face-off against Trottier. Right from the draw, it's drilled wide of the net by Peterson. He picks up his own rebound, centers. Smith steers that aside, and Bossy on right wing got it to Crom, and now out into center ice, but broken up there. Hassine takes it back. Trottier and Peterson in a collision. Play has been called. Something has happened here at the blue line.
Some untimely whistles in the hockey game. There's no reason for the whistle to blow in that situation. Just 2 players down on the ice. Here's a moment ago. This was an offside play. Bill Smith makes the save off Courtnall. But there's no question that up way where I sit. Here's Peterson as he put it in front. It was a half pass, half shot. Bill Smith, there's the reaction as Basine cruises across in front of the net. Penalty, that's what the whistle was for. I guess they're going to give them penalties. Peterson and Brian Trottier. 8 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the third period. Tremendous hockey game between the Islanders and the Boston Bruins. The Bruins with back-to-back goals, 11 seconds apart, took the lead for the first time at 11:07.
Roughing penalties to Trottier and Peterson at 11:55. The teams remain at 6's side, what with the new rule this year, and Potvin handles the puck with a pass to Dineen. Back to Potvin. Fontaine, Gillies, and Flatley move up. Patrick Flatley into the Boston zone, got checked, and Bork handed the puck right back to him. He is checked again, picks it up, can't get it in deeper, and Dineen out at center ice picks it up and dumps it in over the line. Larson feeds Bork. Off the boards, out at center ice. Linsman unable to pick it up, and the Bruins are going to be called for having iced it. The Boston scoring is Simmer from Bork at 10:56, and then 11 seconds later, Crowder from behind the goal line gets his 32nd of the year unassisted to give Boston a 3-2 lead. Still 7 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the third period. The Bruins have 2 games in hand on Buffalo, 2 in hand on Montreal and Quebec, and 1 in hand with Hartford, so they're in good position in that respect, and they play the Whalers in Hartford tomorrow afternoon. Those of you who, like all of us, watch a lot of hockey, thanks to cable television, will be able to pick up that game from Hartford. LaFontaine squares for the face-off. Linsman pulled it back of the net, and it's cleared by Larson around the boards and down into the Islanders' zone. Going back for it is Thomas Janssen. Icing was waved off. Janssen up the middle to LaFontaine. It hit him and ends up in the Boston zone. Gillies worked it across, and Bork broke up that play. Conroy brings it in offside at the Boston line.
Islanders recognizing the fact they can't wait too much longer. They've got to try and mount some offensive action. They're trailing by 1 with 7 minutes and 13 seconds. Got to put something together in the Boston end of the ice. There's the time on the clock and the score up at the top. We're in the third period in an outstanding hockey game. Gosh, I was trying to remember when I've seen a game with this kind of excitement. Not one shift has gone by that something hasn't happened. Everybody has reached down and come up with a good hockey game. The thing about a game like this, as the game started out with that kind of a tempo, not one player on either team wants to play at any less than that particular tempo. They do not want to be the one to be the weak link in the chain. Butch Goring wants to shore up his defense now. He wants to keep the offensive action if he can keep it going. Wants to play the rest of the game in the Islanders' end. The Islanders want to do something about it.
Greg Gilbert clearing the puck around the boards. Mark Hamway has dumped it into the center ice zone. Makela moves up. And it's been dumped just inside the Islander territory. Kasper brought it outside. Lifted in over the line. Courtnall goes in after it. Gets taken out by Boyd. Greg Gilbert across now to Mikko Makela. 2 men back in the Boston defense. Makela around Kluzak. Gave it to Hamway. Mark Hamway in deep. Shoots. Riggin steers it aside. Gilbert in his pursuit of the puck has trouble getting to it as Nienhuis had him squarely in his grips. Now Kluzak clears it to center. Dineen with it. Gord Dineen gets over the line. Dumping it around the boards. Delvin with it, back of the net, comes out on the right side. He had the first Boston goal this afternoon, then Simmer and Crowder here in the third period. Giving the Bruins a 3-2 lead. Dineen to Bourne, back to Brent Sutter, across the Boston line. Sutter cutting to the left side. Can't make the play, and up comes Passin. He gets checked in the center ice area. Dwayne Sutter to Brent, taken away by Passin. Passin over the line, pulling to the left side, backhanded one in front, missed everybody, and Dineen comes out of the corner with it. Plays it ahead for Brent Sutter to Bob Bourne. Rolled off his stick. Blum and Milbury clear it. Brought in offside. They got it out over the line before Dwayne Sutter was able to pick it up. A break in the action, and the situation is this. 5 minutes and 44 seconds left in the third period, and the Bruins are leading 3 at the Boston Garden with 5 minutes and 32 seconds remaining now. Quick offside as they try to go into the Boston line. You didn't miss a thing, folks. It has been a good hockey game. A look again at the Boston bench. Butch Goring in his rookie season as the coach of the Boston Bruins has had his problems with injuries. The Bruins came in here today with a record of 34 wins, 29 losses. They'd won 3 of their last 5 games. Very much in contention. You have to look at them now with Larson and Bork at the points. As certainly a dark horse to come out of the Adams division, and maybe even a real threat. Smith made the save off that long shot, and Bossy tips the puck to Trottier. He and Crom move into center. Crom took the pass, couldn't get between the defense, and it's been cleared out by Larson. A break here on the right side. Nienhuis into the Islander zone, drops it back. Courtnall shot, Smith the save, and he holds on. It was Nienhuis who got the Bruins even with the Islanders the last time the two teams played here. The Islanders had a lead in that game, and then it ended up in a 4-4 tie. And Nienhuis has been an instigator today. Watch this.
There he is. Nienhuis drops the puck. Russ Courtnall steps in. Jeff Courtnall, excuse me. Russ Courtnall, we saw play on Thursday night against the Islanders in Toronto, but that shot by Courtnall, Jeff Courtnall, right at Bill Smith, and he had no problems handling that one. Waist high. Caught it and held on. There's the newly reacquired Dwight Foster. One-time Bruin, went to Detroit as a free agent, and now he's back here again.
Courtnall trying to dig the puck off the boards. Foster picks it up, put it out in front, away from Kasper, and all the way back into the Bruins' end of the ice. Bork goes back for it as Bossy moved in. Now Crom comes into forecheck. The Bruins play it to Courtnall off his skates, right to Trottier. Couldn't get it to the stick of Bossy. Ray Bork banks it off the boards. It hit Boudelier, and Kasper clears it into center ice where Boyd was waiting. Randy Boyd to Trottier. Can't get into the Boston zone. The puck arrives there, but Bork picks it off the wing and plays it up to Casper. And is being called back on a two-line pass. We have 4 minutes and 34 seconds left with this offside. The face-off will be just inside the Boston blue line.
Pressure by the Islanders. A lot of ice time for Ray Bork as you look at Casper going back to the players bench. I think every player that's played in this hockey game at one time or another has been involved in an important offensive move and an important defensive move. Total involvement in a game that demands that everybody play at their best.
They have really come to play, as the cliche goes. These two teams have had an excellent outing. Watch Kluzak come into center ice, into the Islanders zone offside as Zimmer got ahead of the play over on left wing. The fans disagree. Zimmer with his 32nd, Crowder with his 32nd here in the third period. That's been the goal scoring to this point. Neither team scored in the first 20 minutes, and Trottier and Brent Sutters take the Islanders to a 2-0 lead. Talvin got half of that back, and the Bruins tied it and then took the lead in the span of 11 seconds in this third period.
Just got a close-up look at Gord Kluzak. You could see by his uniform, he's the kind of a player that gets involved. A lot of marks around his uniform from sticks, pucks, whatever else, hits it.
Here's Denny Potvin with a pass now to Clark Gillies. Comes over center ice into the Boston zone, shooting it around the boards. Briggan slows it up. Takes a look. He likes to play it himself. Banked it off the boards, and Passin has cleared it out into center ice. Dineen shoots it back in, but that's going to be called back on an offside as well.
Under some more pressure by Ken Linseman this time. Gord Dineen held it, waited. Tried to get Pat Flatley out of the end zone, but had to unload the puck before that happened, so an offside. The Islanders trying to gain possession in Boston's end of the ice. There he is, Ken the Linseman. One-time Philadelphia Flyer. Played for Edmonton Oilers and acquired by the Bruins.
You think if Zimmer had been healthy all season, along with Linseman, and the way Crowder has really complimented the two of them playing right wing.
Well, you could have easily seen a couple of 50-goal wingers along with Linseman, who would easily get a 30-goal season.
Kluzak took a hit from LaFontaine. The puck came out in front. LaFontaine couldn't bang it in. Conroy picks it up in the center ice area. Johnson backs in for the Islanders. Now out to Flatley. Off his stick. It's right at the Islander line, and now knocked in a little deeper. Flatley and Linseman after it. Linseman taken off the play by Flatley as Johnson brings Gillies here on left wing. Fires one from outside the line. Briggan making the save, has played it around to Dave Reed. Up to Peterson. Hamway riding herd on Peterson, took him off the puck. It comes loose in the Islanders zone. LaFontaine lost it to Passin. Passin in the corner, tied up by Boudelier. Peterson get off the boards to Reed, tipped it back of the net. Dave Reed to Passin, put it right in the goal mouth, and Smith down has been able to pull the puck back into him and force a face-off with 3 minutes remaining. There's a break in the action. The score remains the Bruins 3.
And making the change, Reed Larson waved back to the Bruins bench. They were trying to get John Blum off the ice, but they waited too long.
Now ready to drop the puck. Peterson on the face-off with Trottier. Potvin dug it out and gave it to Hamway. Hamway knocked down. Milbury trying to get it to Peterson. It came off his stick. It's picked up by Trottier. Steps over the Boston line. Trottier shot it off Blum. Milbury back of the net. Gets checked, and it came right out in front, but Blum was there. Blum works his way out of the corner. Up the boards on the left side for Reed. Off Peterson, and it's recovered here on the right side by Blum. To Passin. Potvin tipped it away. Makela to Potvin, and he shoots it into the Boston zone. Racing back for it is Mike Milbury. Gilbert ties him up. Blum clears it out into the center ice zone. Johnson is there to Hamway. Off his stick, he and Milbury chase it. Comes back to Courtnall on the left wing boards, and he just shoots it down the ice. This will result in an icing against Boston as Conroy touches up. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the third period, and a 1-goal margin for the Bruins.
Islanders got the Bruins playing a little confused in their own end of the ice. Mike Milbury shows me some maturity as he handles the puck well back there. He finally got it out, but then they iced the puck. A little little shaky. Butch Goring obviously recognizing that he didn't have the right players out, but they wouldn't let him make the change. So now he can, but the face-off in Boston's end of the ice with 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. There it is, 3-2 lead. As back-to-back goals by Simmer and Crowder in the middle part of the third period gave the Bruins the lead for the first time.
The Islanders have not won here in the regular season since the 6th of November, 1980, when that man was an Islander player. 8 visits, 5 losses, 3 ties. Except for the playoffs, it's been a tough place to play. There's Bourne with a shot. The rebound is banged in. Brent Sutter has tied it up. Bob Bourne shot, handcuffed Riggin. He went down, and Bourne, with that shot, gets help from Brent Sutter. His second of the day, and it's all even.
Only fitting that the Islanders should be able to tie it back up. What a drive right from the face-off. The Islanders gain control of the puck. When Sutter beats Lindsman, there's the play back to the point. Thomas Johnson drops it to Bourne. He sees some room. Look at this stop. Look at Riggin. He goes down. He's guessing. Makes the save. The rebound. Left all alone. Brent Sutter slides it underneath Pat Riggin, and the game is tied at 2 apiece with 2 minutes remaining.
Bourne and Johnson assisting at 17:59. Now the Bruins, Dwight Foster moving up along the boards. Larson has been pinned on the boards, and we'll get a face-off right at the Boston blue line.
I think I said tied at 2. Obviously, that's not true. It's tied at 3 with Brent Sutter, his second goal of the game, 23rd of the season, on a rebound. Slid it underneath Pat Riggin, who'd come up very big off Bob Bourne's screen shot.
The Islanders have had only 3 power play chances in the day. They've had 1 goal. The Bruins have had 7 opportunities with the man advantage. I don't think you'll see any more power play chances today, folks. We are squarely facing an overtime situation with 1.5 minutes remaining in regulation. Randy Boyd to Brent Sutter, and he's dumped it in. Riggin has it back of the net. Left it for Talbot. Around the boards to Foster. Wayne Sutter knocked it away from him. Up comes Talbot. Talbot, the center, into the Islanders zone. Fed it across to Courtnall. Back to Talbot. Talbot's shot drifts wide of the net. There's Foster, and he bangs it right across the goal mouth. He had Smith down and missed a golden opportunity. Baudelaire shot it into the Boston zone, and this will be coming back for icing as Kluzak picks up the puck. 61 seconds, all that's left.
What an opportunity for Foster, the newly acquired, or I should say reacquired, Detroit Red Wing. He had Bill Smith to one side of the net. Here's how the play developed. There's Foster. He picks the puck up. He's got it right here. He takes the shot. The puck deflected off Bill Smith. It was bouncing and rolling. I don't think he could get a good piece of it. Here's the puck. It jumped in the air as it came to the ice. There, he did. He misfired on it. Bill Smith caught it on his right shoulder, and it bounced up over him toward the corner of the rink as Foster come very close to regaining the lead for the Boston Bruins.
Lindsman to face off against Trottier. And the Bruins get the draw. Larson with a shot that went wide of the net. Boy, they set that up beautifully. It was perfection to watch it. And Larson back into his own zone. It was played right to the goal mouth off Sutter and comes to center ice. Dineen across to Potvin. Left side to Brent Sutter. The Islanders in the middle of the player change. Bossy tips it back into his own zone. It's picked up and cleared out by Richard Cron. To Trottier to Bossy on the right side. Had trouble picking it up. Now he gets it a second time and is checked by Crowder. Heath Crowder shooting it into the Islanders zone with 27 seconds left. Dineen is back. Lindsman picks it up. Centers, and Larson can't hold it at the blue line. The Islanders have not played an overtime game in 20 outings, and we're 17 seconds away from it with this play stoppage for an offside.
Seems only fitting that a game has had everything, should go right down to the wire, deadlocked at 3 apiece. No scoring in the first period. It was 2-1 at the end of the second period for the Islanders, and then Simmer and Crowder made it 3-2 for the Bruins before Brent Sutter, with his second goal of the game, his 23rd of the season, on a rebound from Bourne and Thomas Johnson, tied it.
Peterson on the face-off. The puck Puck is recovered and cleared down into the Islander zone by Reed. Janssen gets it out of there. Bork gave it to Reed. Got it to the Islander blue line. Janssen took Basine off the play. And here's Crom taking Trotier's pass. Plays it off the boards. Trottier can't get it over the Boston line. Bossy did, but the time is run down. In regulation, the game ends in a 3-3 tie. So we're headed to overtime, just the way the two teams played it on the previous visit to the Boston Garden. We'll be back with the overtime session after we pause for the end. After Zimmer and Crowder had given the Bruins a 3-2 lead, Brent Sutter is 23rd of the year from Bourne and Janssen at 17:59. Going to overtime. The Islanders have played 15 overtime games, winning 4, losing 1, and the other 10 ended that way. For Boston, the record is 2-3-8. 2 wins, 3 losses, 8 ties, and here's what's forcing the extra session.
There's Bob Bourne up in the top left corner of your screen. He turns and lets fly. Watch Riggin here. What a stop he makes. Here comes the puck. At the last minute, he makes the save, but Brent Sutter left unprotected. Lindsman, the closest guy to him, is too late, and Brent Sutter, with his second goal of the game, tied the score at 17:59. The Bruins in overtime, 2 wins, 3 losses, 8 ties. The Islanders have 4 wins, 1 loss, and 10 ties in overtime.
Bill Smith with a personal overtime record of 0-0-6. No, excuse me, that's incorrect. That's the Islander home record is 0-0-6 in overtime. On the season, Bill Smith with 2 victories, a loss, and 2 ties in overtime on the road. He is 2-1-2 in overtime away from the Nassau Coliseum. It's not really him, it's the team. If you look at it, sort of like a pitcher's record, I guess, in that respect. The Bruins outshot the Islanders 11-9 in the third period. Have outshot them 38-24 this afternoon. Set for the overtime. Brent Sutter, Dwayne Sutter, and Bob Bourne. Conroy and Janssen on defense. Lindsman is between Charlie Zimmer and Keith Crowder for Boston. Larson and Bork teamed up on their defense. The draw cleared to Dwayne Sutter. Back into Janssen, off the boards to Dwayne. Laid it up the wing, and Bork takes over. Forces the Islanders to chase it. It comes around the boards, picked up by Keith Crowder. Crowder goes back to the net. Conroy checked him there, and Dwayne Sutter picks up the loose puck. Sutter, long pass across. Conroy at center ice couldn't handle it. Here's Lindsman into the Islander zone. The play stayed onside. Lindsman moves in with a backhander. Smith got a piece of it. Dwayne Sutter over on right wing. Can't get out of there. Charlie Zimmer now. Back of the net to Lindsman, who kicked it out in front. Picked off and cleared by Dwayne Sutter to Bourne. Back to Dwayne. On to Brent. Brent Sutter checked by Bork, and the puck goes up into the seats.
The action continues where it left off after 60 minutes of play. The Boston Bruins get the first scoring opportunity. Lindsman, what a couple of moves he makes to spring himself loose. And Bill Smith makes a right skate save off Ken Lindsman. Here comes Lindsman through the center ice area cross. Watch the move here on Bob Bourne. Then he comes in, goes to the backhand, and that shot Billy Smith gets a piece of, deflects it away. You can see Brent Sutter going into a crouch looking for a rebound shot that never came.
Now Kluzak with the puck. Up the left side, off Reed, down into the Islander zone. Apparently it didn't touch Reed because icing is being called against Boston. 4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the sudden death overtime period. The first in 20 games for the Islanders. 7 of those 20 games were decided by a single goal, and the Islanders won 4 of them. It's noise time is the signal from the message board here, and the fans are reacting.
The out-of-town scores. Ron Sutter has scored, and the Philadelphia Flyers lead the Rangers 4-2. In that hockey game. And in the other game this afternoon, at the end of 2, Detroit still leads Chicago 5-3.
The Kings are in Hartford tonight. The Penguins are in Quebec. Couple of important games. The Devils did the Bruins a favor last night, beating the Sabres in Buffalo. The Bruins trying to help themselves. They have 1 point at this stage. Can they get 2, or can the Islanders take all 2? Move out of here with a perfect road trip. Puck frozen on the end boards behind Pat Riggin. A couple of other games tonight with the Devils playing at Toronto. Minnesota's at Vancouver, and Montreal at St. Louis. Getting ready for a face-off to the left of the net as you look at Brian Trottier. Recorded his 34th goal of the season this afternoon. He has Crom on the left, Bossy on the right. Mike Bossy with the puck. Got dragged down by Foster, and Riggin had to steer it aside. Trottier put it in front. Crom dumped it into the goal mouth, and it was cleared out of there. Foster gets it out into the center ice zone. Potvin back for the Islanders. It's broken up. Foster comes over the line. Moves in deep. Trying to go back in the net. Centered it out in front. Smith dives out, got a high stick, and the puck has been cleared out. Boston setting up again in the center ice zone. There's Bork with a long shot. Handled by Smith. Potvin picks it up. Danny Potvin left side to Clark Gillies. Gillies shoots it in from center. Did not get over the center ice line, so that's an icing call with 3 minutes and 17 seconds remaining.
Islanders action continues next week on Sports Channel. Tuesday at 8 o'clock, the Islanders are back home to take on the St. Louis Blues with the pregame show at 7:30. Friday at 8 o'clock, they're off to Washington for a matchup with the Washington Capitals. And next Saturday at 6:30, it's the Islanders pregame show, followed by the Islanders versus the Edmonton Oilers at 7 o'clock. Islanders hockey next week on Sports Channel. Remember, some games are not available in all areas, so check your local listings.
Brent Sutter will take this face-off against Ken Linsman. Zimmer and Crowder have shifted to the left side for the Bruins centerman. He can't get the puck to them. Brent Sutter got it to Boudelier, and he's cleared it down the ice. Chasing it is Larson. Reed Larson from back of the net. LaFontaine knocked him off the puck. Zimmer will pick it up. In comes Gillies. Zimmer leaves it in the corner for Larson. Handed it right to LaFontaine. Centers, and Bork was there to take it away from Clark Gillies. Crowder with a breaking pass out of the reach of Zimmer. Charlie Zimmer goes back to the net. Got it to Crowder. Skirts the check thrown by Boyd, and LaFontaine plays it up the wing, but not out. Bork gets tangled up with Flatley, and here's Linsman. Eddie Linsman back to the blue line. Larson with a shot. Blocked by Gillies. Flatley gives it to LaFontaine, who comes over center ice. On to Gillies on left wing. Back to LaFontaine. He shoots. Riggin made the save. Larson and Flatley collide, and Flatley comes up with the puck. Centered, but Crowder was there to break it up. Gave it to Bork. They're midway through the overtime. Bork's long shot is blocked by Smith. Picked up by Brent Sutter. Around now to Bob Bourne. Bourne flips it out into the center ice zone. Chasing it is the Boston defenseman Kluzak. Takes it back to the net, gives it to Talbot on the right wing. Out into the center ice area. Foster got checked. Peterson picks up the loose puck. Comes over the line. Barry Peterson gets chased in deep. Rounds the net. Comes out in front. Centers one. Foster is dragged down. A penalty in overtime to the Islanders. A holding call.
Tremendous pressure by the Boston Bruins. The Islanders in desperation take a holding penalty, pulling Foster down, who was left open on the side of the net. Steve Conroy draws the penalty. Let's take a look at the pressure by the Bruins. There's Peterson rounding the net. There's the pull by Conroy on Foster, yanking him down and getting a penalty. The face-off will be in the Islanders' end of the ice as Al Arbor signals for a timeout. Wants to settle things down.
I think Butchie beat him.
Well, let the two coaches argue over who wants to take the timeout. Whoever gets it, the other one has one in his pocket.
Yeah. It really is a benefit to both teams to have instituted the 30-second timeout. You're looking at Bill Smith, who has had just a marvelous game here today, and the same for Pat Riggin, who's come back to the Boston bench. The only reason I'm mentioning the timeout, Butchie was signaling, Al was signaling, and I think the referee saw the signal from Goring first.
Make it 60 minutes, give them both one at the same time.
Yeah, why not?
Only right, just, and fitting, maybe, that this game should end in a tie. Both teams have played so well that you hate to see it decided, but that's what everybody has stayed in this Boston Garden. Not one soul has left. And there's 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining in the overtime. And the face-off will be in the Islanders' end of the ice to the left of Bill Smith. Steve Conroy has taken a holding penalty. There he is in the penalty box. And the Bruins, who have had all kinds, 8 opportunities, thank you, Jiggs, 8 opportunities on the power play, get their 9th.
You look at Bill Smith as he squares for the face-off in the circle to his left, and Brent Sutter won the draw, cleared it off Bork's stick. Bork over to Linsman. Back to Bork, who'll set it up in his own zone and brings it to center ice before shooting it in. Rattled around the glass. Simmer in after it. It's picked off by Linsman. Back to the blue line. Bork. And a shot block. Crowder with it. Gives it to Linsman. To Bork. Dumps it in front. Crowder turns. Couldn't shoot it. And Bossy has cleared it out into center ice. Bork for the Bruins. To Linsman. Bossy takes it away from Crowder and has shot it into the Boston zone. The Islanders will play shorthanded for the balance of the overtime. Barring any further penalties, Peterson into the Islander zone is checked by Boudelier, and Flatley has cleared it. Ray Bork with it at center ice. To Crowder. Keith Crowder to Simmer, waiting over on the left wing boards. He moves in a little deeper and has shot deflected by Boyd. Flatley and Linsman tie up in the corner, and the puck goes to Thomas Johnson, who's dumped it out. The Islanders making a change on the fly as Peterson is back to pick up the puck with 50 seconds remaining in overtime. Gary Peterson up the left side off Kluzak. Casper has shot it into the Islanders zone. Potvin slaps it off the boards away from Ray Bork. 38 seconds remaining. Bork got his pass broken up and cleared by Brent Sutter. He went right to Talbot, who steps over the line, plays it in on the boards. Potvin steps in front of Pasine, gets dragged down, and there will be a penalty to Pasine. Boyd and Kluzak looking daggers at one another, and we have a scuffle back of the net. The Islanders short-handed. Bill Smith is being pushed back into the goal mouth by Ray Bork. He'd been in there jostling a little with Casper.
Fever pitch this hockey game. Sure they'll somehow get the cooler heads to prevail.
Only 24 seconds left, and a penalty was to be called against the Bruins. We'll see if there's anything else added to it.
Dennis Potvin gets dragged down as the Bruins try to organize a power play that's been a dud for them in this whole night. Take a look at how the sides are going to be sent to even. There's Potvin in possession of the puck. Pulled down from behind by Pasine, and then afterwards things kind of break loose. Kluzak and Randy Boyd, it would appear. So the power play that the Boston Bruins were enjoying nullified by Pasine hooking Dennis Potvin, taking him down. Face-off will be in the center ice area. 24 seconds remain in the overtime period.
It'll be Trottier, Bossy, Potvin, and Johnson for the Islanders. Peterson, Foster, Delvin, and Bork for the Bruins. This is Johnson back in the net. One of the few times that the teams play at 5 aside, including goalkeepers. Bossy gets checked by Bork. Foster comes in after the puck, plays it out into center ice. Delvin backs up with 8 seconds remaining. Got it to Foster. Trottier checks him. Johnson moves up with it over the Boston line. The pass just missed Bossy, and that's going to do it. There's the siren, and this one is all over. Twice the Islanders visit Boston this season. Twice they come away with a tie. Coming from behind after trailing 3-2 in the third period. Brent Sutter gets the tying goal at 17:59. A sparkling performance again by Bill Smith. His record on the season goes to 20 wins, 12 losses, and 4 ties. Gives up 3 goals today. The Islander defense has been very tight in the last 5 or 6 games. Does nothing to damage his goals against average. The Islanders and the Bruins each pick up a point. Your final score from the Boston Garden is the Islanders 3, the Bruins 3. Back with a recap after these. The Islanders 3, the Boston Bruins 3. But look at the shots on goal by the Bruins. 11 in the third period, 3 more in the overtime for a game total of 41. The Islanders had 9 shots in the third period, 1 in the overtime, a game total of 25. In the third period, Simmer and Crowder score, each their 32nd of the year, and the Bruins were leading at that point 3-2. But Brett Sutter at 17:59 ties it up, his second of this game, 23rd of the year. Bob Bourne and Thomas Johnson assisted. Big story today was the way the Bruins power play failed to click. They had 8 opportunities in the game and are unable to do any business with the man advantage. And again, the kudos go to the Islander penalty killing, and a great big round of thanks to both goaltenders. It was a spectacular game turned in by Bill Smith and Pat Regan.
Well, it's a treat to see a game like this, and it's a story that everybody that loves hockey didn't get to see it, but I'm sure there wasn't one fan left the place. I thought from the opening bell, from the first face-off right through the whole hockey game, including the overtime, 2 hockey teams gave everything they could give, and it looked like one team was going to be eliminated from something if they didn't win, and they played that hard. It's a compliment to the preparation that these 2 teams had for the hockey game and the way they executed their game plans.
And I think of the opportunities that missed, the goalposts that were hit. Richard Crom in the third period especially had a great opportunity. The chance that Clark Gillies had, he was robbed by Pat Regan. Down at the other end, Bill Smith made some spectacular saves as well, and they have to be considered as 2 heroes here. And a 3-3 tie. We'll return to the Boston Garden with more right after this pause. 13,000 were treated to an excellent hockey game. A 3-3 tie is the final score here. Let's get you up to date on a couple of other games played in the NHL this afternoon. At Philadelphia, it was the Flyers over the Rangers. The final score now, Philadelphia 4, the Rangers 2. And they're still playing at Detroit with the Red Wings leading the Chicago Blackhawks 5-3 in the third period. The Bruins are going to Hartford for a game tomorrow afternoon. The Islanders return to the Coliseum. They'll play on Tuesday night. The visitors are the St. Louis Blues, finishing up their season with the New York Islanders, and then it's on into Washington next Friday night. Not an easy schedule ahead, but I think it made a little bit easier by the 3 points that the Islanders picked up on this trip.
Well, there's no question about it, and I think overall, the players are probably a little disappointed, the Islanders players, that they didn't win the hockey game when they had a pretty good chance to do that early into the third period. But I think on the overall picture, the Islanders have to look at it as being a tremendous game they played, a game they could have won, of course a game they could have lost also, but they got right back into it. I think the total picture for the Islanders is again improving, and that's what they want coming up, getting ready for the playoffs, and that's what they've strived for. It seems that since the trade again, the Islanders, everybody's picked up the level of play, and the team is operating almost at playoff level now.
2 weeks from now, the season, well, actually 2 weeks from tomorrow, the season is all over, and the playoffs will be getting underway a couple of days later. But from the Boston Garden, your final score is the New York Islanders 3 and the Boston Bruins 3. Remember, tonight at 7:30, the Nets are in Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. And Tuesday at 7:30, it's the Islanders pregame show to be followed by the game against the St. Louis Blues at 8 o'clock. I'm Jiggs McDonald for Ed Westfall, saying so long until Tuesday, and thanks for watching Islanders hockey on Sports Channel, #1 in New York sports.